Lisi. Quarterback Cam Newton launching his NFL comeback, throwing at Auburn's Pro Day today. The 33-year-old, a national champ and Heisman Trophy winner with the Tigers, is a free agent, last played during the 2021 season with the Panthers. There should be teams interested in a former NFL MVP and #1 overall pick, in the opinion of Canty and Carlin co-host Chris Canty.
I mean, he's not even 34 years old yet. You can't tell me that there are 64 quarterbacks in the world that are better than him. The only question with Cam is, can he stay healthy? Because you need your backup to be reliable, and I think that's been the knock on him for the last 4 or 5 years.
Chris Canty on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. ESPN's Todd Archer reports the Cowboys agreed to a 1-year deal with free agent running back Ronald Jones. He'll provide depth as a complement to Tony Pollard. Patriots linebacker Dante Hightower, who won 3 Super Bowl championships over his 9-year career, officially announced his retirement today. Fairleigh Dickinson's Tobin Anderson agreed to a 5-year contract to become the next basketball coach at Iona. He led his 16th-seeded Knights to a stunning upset of 1-seed Purdue in the NCAA tournament. He replaces Rick Pitino, now at St. John's.
A championship team is about each player being a perfect fit. Same with your vehicle. So for parts that fit, head to eBay Motors and look for the green check. Stay in the game with eBay Guaranteed Fit. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
In the heart of Beer City, USA, 2 men, 1 journey to create a sports show unlike any other. Unfiltered, raw, and honest. One of them played a soccer goalie opposite Ben Stiller. The other once scored 6 points on Steph Curry. These guys know their shit. Let's go! Tank Spencer, Jeremy Greene, the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings. And Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy. It is a Tuesday afternoon here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. And the Sportsocracy, of course, heard everywhere around the world on the iHeartRadio app. See us live on YouTube right here in the Ingles Studio. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel, and join us in the chat.
And today we're going to do the 2 things we do best. Yeah. Ignore Cam Newton and talk about football.
Oh, come on. You don't want to go round and round about this again?
Oh, there are not 64 better quarterbacks in the NFL. I could argue that there are. But let's just say I'm going to give you that one. Are you really signing Cam Newton to be your backup quarterback?
No, he said 32. There aren't 32 blankety-blankers
I'm talking
out
about
there that are better than me. And I went, you're right. There's way more than that.
Oh, 100%. There's 48 bare minimum. I'm talking about what led into us with Candy and Carlin, where they said there's not 64. Well, 64 doesn't really matter because you're not bringing him in to back up anybody. Cam Newton, just go away, okay? It's over. It's been over. Been over for like 5 years.
But I got to show my skills.
Let me put it this way. The last time Cam Newton was a legitimate NFL starting quarterback, Donald Trump was the president of the United States. End the message, repeat the line. Let's go.
It's been a while. It has been a while. It is the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, and today is a Power Rankings Tuesday. Because we've had so many moves happen in the free agency period already, we're just going to do the check-in, the Power Rankings check-in.
And we're going to wrap a lot of things into this. So we will power rank the teams 32-1. We will also tell you how we feel about where these teams are at. And we'll tell you the player that they have to come away from the 2023 NFL Draft with. Going to mix some football and draft stuff. Draft miss, let's go.
It is all right here in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, and it all begins with the opening drive, brought to you by Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville. Go to 629 Brevard Road. Check out the showroom, or you can just check them out online at andersonnissan.com. Mention the Sportsocracy when you go in to do the deal. When you take your trade in, say, the formerly fat guys from the Sportsocracy sent me, and they will give you $250 on top of whatever that trade-in is worth. My 2017 Nissan Rogue, certified pre-owned from Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville. Look, it does way more than get me from A to B. It gets me from A to B safely
Which is far more than could be said for the vehicle that they, by pure mercy, took away.
And it rides way better than an Amish buggy.
Which the other did not.
Exactly.
And every time you turn to the left, I don't think your tire fell off. I was at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville at 629 Brevard Road. Today, it was my day to switch cars, and I said, but I like this one.
But do I have to?
But do I have to? And they said, no, you can just keep that one, and they did. So I'm still in the beautiful, blacked out with red accents 2023 Pro 4X Nissan Titan. And you can see just exactly how luxurious that car is, well, by going to 629 Brevard Road, telling them the formerly fat guys from the Sportsocracy sent you.
All right, NFL moves. There's not a whole lot of exciting going on around the league. I mean, the Dallas Cowboys have replaced Ezekiel Elliott. Don't you want to know with who? Oh, it's Ronald Jones
All right,
Jr.
Let's go. How many running – okay, so I just want to ask a theoretical question. What would have to happen to every other running back in the NFL for you to go, let's go sign Ronald Jones?
They'd have to go wax surfboards.
Nope. Even then, I would be trying to get them out of waxing surfboards. They would all have to disappear into a UFO that I would blame on the birds. And I'm talking 100 deep. Before I went, I need a running back. And I'm going to call Ronald Jones.
Ezekiel Elliott released this offseason by the Dallas Cowboys, saving them cap space, and their name will not be called in today's power rankings for quite some time.
It's going to be a minute.
I have a good feeling about that.
It's going to be a minute.
Yeah. I guess the Dalton Schultz thing becomes official.
I did love that in the AP story they said, and he'll be the starting tight end. No kidding. You mean they don't want to start Brevin Jordan over him? Huh. I do declare that is the most surprising thing I've heard all day.
You loved Brevin Jordan.
I mean, he's fine.
Brevin Jordan was the tight end whisperer tight end circa 4 years ago.
Hey, you win some, you lose some.
With Brevin Jordan and Adam Troutman and...
I'm not going to lie to you. That was not the tight end whisperer's best day. All right.
Damian Harris going to the Buffalo Bills. He's a piece.
Hey, that's a running back that weighs above like 2 bills. So that's a thing.
But that's your between the tackles. You got James Cook as the utility guy.
Yeah.
So they put together a tandem.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. All right, let's get into it here. We've got the Sportsocracy mid-free agency power rankings. Yeah, let's call it that.
Yeah, we're not done with free agency yet. It's just all the players that are good are not on the board anymore. So,
all right, starting at the bottom, because that's what we do.
Because we're like Drake. We started from the bottom, now we're here. And for me, number 32 is not all that hard to figure out. It is the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh, is this just because of the Kyler Murray injury and he's going to miss a good portion of the season, or are they that bad with him?
I don't think they're particularly good with him, but they're genuinely horror-awful without him. And that leads me into the player that I feel like they need to come away from the 2023 NFL draft with, and it's going to sound a little strange.
Okay.
Because they pick at 3.
Uh-huh.
Which is, I believe, not going to be the pick that they make.
There's a trade.
I believe so, and a little birdie, one time in the last 24 hours, told me that a team that has called on the Arizona Cardinals is the Tennessee Titans.
Ooh. Tennessee looking for that quarterback at 3.
Well, there's just a lot of flux because over the course of the process, now you've got Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud. All these things are filtering out. Now we're getting to a consensus that Stroud and Bryce Young are 1A and 1B. All right. When we do the team that I'm putting Bryce Young with, I will tell you what I have heard there, and it's basically just me echoing the same thing I told you 2 months ago. But now it's 3, and Anthony Richardson has distanced himself from Will Levis. Do I think that's smart? No, I don't. But the Tennessee Titans and allegedly the Indianapolis Colts are both interested in Anthony Richardson more than Will Levis.
So
or it's the greatest smokescreen I've ever seen, and Indy's sitting there going, let Will Levis fall to us. Do it.
So the Arizona Cardinals could be dropping back to 4 with Indianapolis, or to, 11?
11. It would be 11 with the Titans, and then they would have to try to make a move with the Bears to get in front of Philadelphia. To get Bijan Robinson, you are going to be genuinely, dreadfully awful without Kyler Murray. The only way you can be even pseudo-competitive is to be able to I haven't done this in a long time. Run the damn ball! And this is the best player in this draft. So I know they are – I know they at least have some interest in him. I have heard smoke that he could go at 3. I don't buy that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a trade back, try to get your guy. The guy – if I'm the Arizona Cardinals, I am doing the Kevin Costner in draft day. It's Bijan Robinson no matter what. I have to get him on this team. You're going to move DeAndre Hopkins. I'm hearing that move is going to happen sometime, probably in the next 48 hours.
And is it New England?
No.
Okay.
No, I've heard a few teams. It's still Kansas City is really, really loud. That is every time I hear his name, that team is attached. And usually that's a pretty good way to filter out smoke from seriousness is how often do I hear one individual team, and it's Kansas City a lot.
All right, the Arizona Cardinals at number 32, and the player they have to have in this NFL draft, Bijan Robinson, the running back out of Texas. At number 31.
The Houston Texans.
Oh, poor Texans.
I mean, look.
But we just signed Dalton Schultz. Does that count for nothing?
We got Dalton Schultz and Devin Singletary because Nick Caserio just loves playing. Which retread will we start and make them pseudo-fantasy relevant this year? This roster's still not good. Look, I believe in D'Amico Ryans. I really, really do. And I feel like over time, you're going to be fine if you can get this front office out of this, whatever this mindset is of bringing in these vets on really short-term deals, and then you play them snaps ahead of younger players, and then they leave.
Mm-hmm.
That does you no good. I do not know what their obsession with that is, but it's not helping you. Name me the last player, young player, that Houston legitimately developed.
Oh God, was it Deshaun?
It's if you're talking on the high side, then yes, I would say it would be Okoronkwo that they just allowed to go to the Browns.
Right,
but that's what they keep doing. Is you halfway develop a player, you have all of these vets in front of him that play snaps. You don't appreciate him, and then a smart team comes in and steals him from you for nothing. This is why your roster's so bad. It's not that they draft all that poorly. I mean, you hit Jalen Petrie last year. I think you hit Derek Stingley. I will laugh until the day I die that you took Derek Stingley over Ahmad Sauce Gardner. And from the bottom of my Jet fan heart, I will say, thank you. Dameon Pierce, I mean, yeah, it's a running back. I'm not going to jump up and down about that. But bringing back Laramie Tunsil, I think you've done some nice things in the offseason. That's why, to me, it's Bryce Young no matter what. You have to come out of this with Bryce Young.
Mm-hmm.
And I know everybody has this, but he's so little. I heard Dan Orlovsky say, and the funny thing is I was thinking this in my truck driving in here this morning, of I'm going to find a way to get this in the show. And then I heard Dan Orlovsky say it, and I went, see, this is why you and I, this is why we simpatico. 15 years ago, I would have had a 4th-round grade on Bryce Young.
Okay.
Because he's too small.
Mm-hmm.
In the current NFL, when was the last time you saw a quarterback get smoked? I mean, just absolutely demolished.
Mason Rudolph.
Well, that was a little different. I was thinking Mike White.
Yeah.
All right, Mike White with the shot from Matt Milano.
Yeah.
And in very short order, I got all the way back to Pat White with Troy Polamalu, which was 15 years ago.
Oh, Cam Newton. TJ Watt on Cam Newton.
TJ hit him pretty hard, but Cam was a big guy. I'm not all that worried about how small Bryce Young is because the league's getting smaller, faster. I mean, of course, that allows for a quarterback like Drew Brees or Kyler Murray or Russell Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of people are getting so lost in his size that they're not looking at the fact that he's a legitimate big boy talent.
Yes, he is.
Every single time we've done a mock draft or anything of the like, somebody mentions how small Bryce Young is, and he'll be out of the league in no time. Name me the last quarterback that was out of the league for injury. Oh, wait, I mean, frankly, we can do this over the commercial break. You tell me the last quarterback that went out of this league from injuries. I'm going to give
Alex
you a
Smith.
baseline. Who had been in the league for, 12 years?
It's the best one I could come up with all the time.
I'm talking about a young quarterback
Yeah.
that got hurt, and the career was just over. RG3. I already see Gage Camplin said that in the comments.
There you go.
That was because you made a bad decision. Not because he was so small that things just went awry. He played on a knee that he shouldn't have. He destroyed it, and it was never the same.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about who was the last quarterback that came in, played legitimate snaps, and they were too small. Teddy Bridgewater, catastrophic knee injury. Wouldn't have mattered if he was the 6'1", 205 that he is, or if he was 6'5", 230. Injuries happen across the board.
Yep.
I do not care how big you are.
Yep.
And I just look at Bryce Young and feel like we're taking his size and letting it completely eschew his talent.
Yes.
And so if I'm the Houston Texans, I know he's not going 1. Everything I've heard out of Carolina is that's not who they're after. I don't care about the smoke from Scott Fitterer. I'm taking Bryce Young at 2. I do not care what you call me and offer me. I don't care. That's my quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
That's my guy, and in this system, I love him.
At number 30, we'll find out who it is. Coming up after the break right here on ESPN Asheville, it is the mid-free agency period power rankings here in the Sportsocracy, and a player that each team has to come away with in this upcoming NFL draft. Number 30 is next.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
Mom, Dad, let's talk.
Before you know it, I'm out of here.
I want to go to college.
Or start a business. My allowance ain't gonna cut it. Ooh, sorry I said ain't.
The UNest app puts smart investing tools right in the palm of your hand. And with the UNest gifting link, friends and family can contribute to your child's account. Start investing today. Download the UNest app from the App Store or Google Play. See terms and conditions at unest.co. That's UNEST.co.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Haley, quote, "Navage is the best thing I bought. I love it. My nose feels so clear now and I can breathe. I've been struggling with a stuffy nose for weeks. I bought Navage and it's amazing." Or this one. I use Navage every night, could not imagine life without it. I have 5 cats, and before I found Navage, I was a clogged mess. Now I breathe so much better, unquote. Those are 2 of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
Wendy's 2 for $6 lets you mix and match some of our best items, like Dave Single with a 10-piece crispy nugs, medium strawberry lemonade with a spicy chicken sandwich, spicy chicken with a Dave Single with a strawberry lemonade, strawberry lemonade, if you're into that. Chicken Sam, crispy nugs, strawberry lemonade, Dave's, nugs, Sam. Whew. Pick what you want at a price you want. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's 2 for $6.
For a limited time, price and participation may vary at U.S. Wendy's. On the card only. Single item at regular price.
The Sportsocracy.
Pull up your pants, take off the bra, and be a man.
This is the Sportsocracy, and it is ESPN Asheville, the mid-free agency power rankings. 32-1 in the NFL. Who's done themselves favors in this free agency period? Who hasn't done enough? Obviously, starting at the bottom here, we've got the Cardinals on the board so far, the Houston Texans, and then coming in at number 30, Flostradamus.
The Indianapolis Colts.
Ooh. There's a lot of scuttlebutt around the Colts right now. Could they move up in the draft? Are they considering a play for Lamar Jackson?
They're the only team I've really legit heard with Lamar. And there's nothing from the team. It's just things I've heard.
Mm-hmm.
I don't – what does Indianapolis do well right now? This is where I got with Indy when I was doing the power rankings and looking at teams but because there's one that I really wanted to put behind them and I couldn't do it.
I mean, I would say run the ball, but they didn't do that very well this past season.
Exactly what I was about to say. Yeah, we thought they did that real well last year.
They defensed really well for a while, and I guess the defense wasn't completely horrible. I mean, they were in some games that you wouldn't have thought they would have been.
Well, and now I look at the defense and go, you lost Stephon Gilmore.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really think you have a no-doubt corner to rely on. I mean, I like Isaiah Rodgers too, but he's just a whittle feller. You don't have much in the way of a pass rusher that I'm terrified of. I mean, I like Kwity Paye when he's healthy. He's just not very often.
Right. Samson Ebukam. Just added Samson Ebukam.
And I don't mind that. I think he's a talented player. I'm looking at Indianapolis going, with that defense, I don't think you're formidable enough to beat people with defense. I'm terrified of what your quarterback situation is going to be because I feel like you've missed out on the two that I feel good about. And then you're going to fall into Will Levis.
Mm-hmm.
And this is probably the number one team that I don't want him to go to.
But that's immediately your favorite quarterback room in the NFL, isn't it? Will Levis and Gardner Minshew?
Well, it certainly has the best mullet among quarterbacks in the NFL, which is certainly a perk for me. Look, I like Will Levis a lot, and that's who I'm giving to Indianapolis here because you're not going to have a shot at the other two. Carolina's taking Stroud. Houston's taking Bryce Young, and that's my opinion right now. For me, it's Will Levis because you have to avoid the Anthony Richardson thing. If I hear one more person talk about his upside, I'm going to scream.
It's not there? You're just not seeing it with him?
No, it's not that. The way I look at Anthony Richardson right now this is a lot like when people sell things on Facebook Marketplace. And they say, oh, it's only $20 for a mattress, but somebody died on it. And okay, it's that after the comma thing, you should tell me that first because it completely changes what it is that you're telling me. And you're not doing that. Yes, his high side is really high. I could have said the same thing with Jake Locker. I could have said the same thing with Vince Young and a slew of other quarterbacks that never get there. If I'm Indy, I have to avoid that landmine with everything I have.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what it costs. I don't care if I have to go up to 3 to get Will Levis, get the big arm. I like him with Pittman. I hate that there aren't other receivers on this team. But I just feel like I'm in a situation where I don't have another choice. I'm not getting the crack at 1 and 2. Bryce and CJ are off the board. I got to make chicken salad.
Does this surprise you that they haven't made a move on a wide receiver?
Yes.
Yeah, it does me too. I mean, we're going in.
Now you're going in with Ashton Doolin.
Exactly. It's exactly what I was getting ready to say.
Woo. And here's the thing, and I've heard this, Gage Camplin and Soaring Eagle with our first one of those, asking about AR-15 with Steichen, of which I'm going to continue to call him that, and here's why, because your initials are AR and your number is 15, okay? Stop being weird. I guess I kind of understand the comp to Hurts because he is a big athletic runner.
Mm-hmm.
Here's where that completely falls apart to me. The roster is not even in the ballpark of what I was seeing with Jalen Hurts. The roster is much closer to what I saw last year with Justin Fields.
Yeah.
So, I mean, am I signing up for that? Because that, to me, is your high side for 2 years. You'll be in the same boat that the Chicago Bears were with Justin Fields. If I'm trying to develop a quarterback and I don't have the same level of talent to do that.
Right.
And so I get the comp because he is a bigger, faster, in my opinion, stronger version of Jalen Hurts. He also has a drastically worse arm. Yeah, he's got a howitzer. It may land in the first row or it might hit your receiver in stride. That's something I disagreed with Orlovsky. We're saying he's inaccurate. No, he is inaccurate. That's not an opinion. That's a fact.
Yeah.
So, I mean, can you build an offense that way? Yes, but you need way better pieces than what Indianapolis has.
Okay, at number 29.
The Los Angeles Rams. I don't know what to do with this team because I wanted to put them behind Indianapolis badly.
Yeah.
I mean, I am hearing, you know what team I'm close to. Of one of the Jets' pieces of leverage is they've already offered Matthew Stafford. So if we have to fall back on Stafford, we'll do that.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the case, now you're just tearing it down to the studs. I mean, if you're tapping out on Stafford, then this could be the great fire sale of 2023. I mean, now you're talking Cooper Kupp, Allen Robinson, everybody basically down to Aaron Donald.
Right.
So I feel like this roster is just in such flux, and all we're waiting for is the next shoe to drop.
Yeah. When's the next guy going to leave? When are they going to have to cut something else?
Well, I mean, at this point, they've got their situation kind of handled. It's just I feel like they're looking around going, we boo-booed here. You cannot spit in the face of the draft forever and it not eventually bite you.
Right.
And that's what you've done.
Questions come into play for me with the Rams of how many guys you got on this roster for next year? How much more do you need to add? And how much flexibility do you have to add it?
They lack in a lot of that.
Right.
And I just feel like you're hard capped at 130% of what I saw last year. I mean, yes, I think Matthew Stafford, if he's healthy, you will be better than you were. I still don't really like how you run the ball. I don't think your weapons are all that great. Your defense is half of what it was in that Super Bowl year, and I think I'm being nice.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you have no draft capital. I'm not going to say I would feel tremendously different about this team if they had the 6th pick. It wouldn't hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, because I'm looking at a team at 36 here going, I don't know what you're supposed to do.
So who do they have to come away with in the draft?
I've had this pegged, I think, since the first mock I did. It's Isaiah Foskey out of Notre Dame. He is boom bust. This could be one of those picks you look back on 3 years ago and go, wow, we got absolutely nothing out of him. But if I'm wrong, and he does become the pass rusher that I think he can, it's in a system like this, and that would at least give you an element where you can make up for some of the deficiencies that this roster has. You can't fix all these problems in one fell swoop. Offensive lineman, yeah, I'd love for you to have one. I really would. The problem is that you're picking 5 picks deep in the second round, and I'm not sure that there's going to be one that actually merits it. I'd like to say a John Michael Schmitz or Steve Avila from TCU. I'm not 100% sure any of those guys are there. Because the run on lineman is going to get aggressive from about 13 on.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be 10 of them. It could be 7 of them. And if that's the case, then yeah, there could be one there. Foskey's the guy I know is going to be there and has the upside to make up for – if you can hit a home run like that in the second round, which he has 30 to 40% chance of being, it'll make up for some of your ills. A random guard is not doing that for you.
Mm-hmm.
And you have Logan Truss from last year that you said was your first-round pick on your board. Nobody believed it.
Yeah, I remember when y'all remember when it got real loud around L.A. about Sean McVay possibly leaving and going to TV and Aaron Donald retiring and all of that after the Super Bowl? Now we've had a year removed from it where they were one of the worst teams in the NFL. And now you've got Sean McVay saying he's committed to this team for multiple years to come. And they could just end up burning it all to the ground anyway. It's terrifying. But do we trust Sean McVay to be able to create a winner if he has to get rid of Matthew Stafford.
I do. I just think it's going to take some time.
Mm-hmm.
I think you went completely all in. You busted out, and now you're the short chip stack because there was a little side pot that kept you alive, and now you're going to have to be really, really, really patient.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. Coming up after the break, we'll get just a bit outside and continue with the mid-free agency power rankings here in the Sportsocracy.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
There will be an increase in cloud cover tonight with a low eventually cooling down to 38 and some clouds into Wednesday with a potential for some scattered showers developing. The high tomorrow should approach 58 degrees. Not quite as cold for Wednesday night with breaks in the clouds at a low of 46 and certainly some warmer weather on Thursday. It will be sunny with winds increasing out of the southwest and a high climbing to 78. And on Friday, a sunny sky into the afternoon hours as the high gets close to 80. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Print and Marketing Services help small business print big. Now get $15 off signs, banners, and posters when you spend $75 or more. Offer ends 4/15. Visit staples.com/printbig for details. This is your side that tries Staples, where your prints are perfect, guaranteed.
Cleaning the inside of your house is easy, but the outside is where most people need a little help. WNC Wash Pros are the highest rated exterior cleaning company in North Carolina with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Whether you need your walkways pressure washed or the outside of the house scrubbed clean, we will kill all organic growth to preserve your paint and extend the life of your roof with our gentle and soft approach. Call us at 828-560-WASH or visit our website at WNCWashPros.com for a free estimate today.
Progressive presents Adjusting to the Suburbs. You just bought a home in the suburbs, but no one told you about all the birds, specifically this one, who seems to be calling out Roy. Roy. But who exactly is Roy? And why doesn't he ever respond? Maybe Roy is just bird speak for save with Progressive by bundling your home and auto. I guess until Roy answers, we'll never know. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided in service by affiliates and third-party insurers.
No one has the same taste as you.
You damn right.
From the music you love to the podcasts you can't live without. And only the iHeartRadio app has it all for free. Download the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelly Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
It's time to discover the convenience and time savings of contact-free pickup with Ingles Curbside. Just visit shop.ingles-markets.com or download the app. And your Ingles personal shopper gets to work with specialized training on how to select the freshest items for a pre-scheduled pickup. They'll even text you with updates. You pull up to a designated space and your personal shopper delivers your items right to your vehicle. Fresh, fast, and affordable. It's all in the bag. Ingles. Low prices. Love the savings.
For more information about contests on the station, log on to espnavl.com.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, coming to you from the Ingles Studio, and we're hearing from Antoine Davis. He is
this story makes me so angry.
He is the 6th year senior. He's used all of his eligibility and all of that, the COVID year, all that, to come back for Detroit Mercy this year. And there was all the talk of, he's 4 points shy of Pistol Pete Maravich's career scoring record in D1 college basketball. So he might have a chance to break the record if they get invited to the CBI tournament.
There's one problem with that. They're 14-19.
Yeah, the CBI. Look, part of me feels like the CBI should have done this. This is the only way that you were talking about the CBI.
And you still wouldn't have talked about it.
If he'd have broken the record,
You still wouldn't have talked about it. How long would we have talked about it? We do 3 hours a day.
As long as we're talking about it
seconds? You're going to give it a whole 14 seconds.
As long as we're talking about it now. Antoine Davis did an interview with the Associated Press after his team did not get invited to the CBI tournament. And they also had reported that they received unsolicited emails asking the CBI specifically not to invite Antoine Davis and Detroit Mercy to the tournament because of the record. And when he was asked about it by the Associated Press, Davis said, quote, "I'm upset about it. I feel like I got cheated out of something that they can't ever give back to me. I think it's selfish and weird that people emailed or called the CBI to say that we shouldn't be in the tournament because they didn't want me to break the record. I wish I'd have known about this, or I would have joined the litany of people who did that. Because, no, there is no reason that we should give you an opportunity to break this record. You've already had 2 more years than Pistol Pete had to break it. So, sorry."
And you're 14-19.
Mm-hmm.
If your team was a little better, because that's a bought and paid for tournament.
Yes, you have to pay $30,000 to play in it.
And that's just, to me, that's just gross. A team that would never have been considered, ever. And now we're going to let it stop. Just get out of here.
Just get out of here.
That's as annoying as a story as mine, which is about a woman named Taylor Mathis. She worked for Sportsbook.
Okay.
And her sister was a teacher, or is a teacher, in Illinois. And she told Sports Handle, "I was back in Illinois for my sister's baby shower. She asked me to come into her classroom and help her out. My original plan was to show the class how a scorecard works in baseball, as baseball is what I concentrate on professionally." So basically what this is her sister, the teacher, was going to get this Taylor Mathis to come in and teach her class about math and how it applies to sports.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what month is it?
March.
It's March. What do we do in March?
Madness.
So she came in and filled out a bracket with the children.
Okay.
No mention of gambling, no mention of anything. She has now been fired by Sportsbook for grooming children.
Do what?
This is without a, and I'm not going to get political here, I promise. I already see Tank's eyes getting big because he knows how far down this rabbit hole I could go. I'm not going to do that. This is without a doubt the stupidest thing I've ever seen. I don't know this woman in the least at all, except what I saw on her Twitter before we went down this rabbit hole. Not saying that we could offer you a lot, but if you ever need somewhere to come talk sports, you always got a home right here. Because that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. And anybody that thinks that, get a life.
Can't have the kids.
And if you don't like it, I ain't hard to find.
Can't have the kids learning about gambling. It just can't have it.
They filled out a bracket. Get out of here with that.
It's gambling, and you can't. I remember getting in trouble in high school for.
It's
doing
stupid.
So,
it's stupid.
Yeah.
Okay?
It is. It's absolutely stupid. And
of all the things that never mind.
Yeah.
You know what?
Moving right along.
You know what? Let's go back to power rankings.
The mid-free agency power rankings here in the Sportsocracy on a Power Rankings Tuesday. The Arizona Cardinals, Houston Texans, Indianapolis Colts, and the Los Angeles Rams are the bottom 4 teams, according to Flostradamus Jeremy Greene, leaving us at number 28. This is not only the teams and where they rank, but it's also who they have to come away with in this upcoming NFL draft.
There was at least a handful of people listening right there going, he's about to do it. No, I'm not. But you can probably read my mind. Number 20, what is it, 28? The Tennessee Titans. But what exactly is your roster right now?
It's a whole bunch
bunch
of low prices. Love the savings.
No, Ingles way better than the Tennessee Titans. Not even close. The Tennessee Titans are this is the big lots of the NFL. Scratch that one off. And I just keep doing this. I like Big Lots. My mother shops there.
I love Big Lots.
She loves Big Lots. I think I have a couch from Big Lots. That wasn't a shot. Okay, just okay.
I mean, it was, but still.
Well, I mean, you don't pay me money to not do that, so sorry. Tennessee, just what exactly do you do well? You haven't drafted well forever. You've got a couple edge rushers that I somewhat like.
You got a Terminator of a running back that I'm not sure you're going to have an offensive line in front of him.
Well, he's getting older. The trade value is next to nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm talking a 4th-round pick. That's what you're going to get for Derrick Henry, and that's at best. And that's from a team that is desperate. There's not much that I like here. And so what do you have to come away from the 2023 NFL draft with?
Talent.
Anything but a quarterback.
I was going to say talent.
Anything but a quarterback. If you trade up to get a quarterback, I will absolutely crush you. And every draft analyst will as well. Because you have one huge advantage here. One, there are 2 quarterbacks going in the top 10 that probably shouldn't, which means that good talent is going to fall in your lap. 2, you're going to be a bad team this year because the Jacksonville Jaguars have already lapped you. You're closer to the Texans and the Colts than you want to let on, and your schedule is evil. So I'm just going to tap out and do this next year. I'll go Caleb Williams. To me, this is the 2 teams that should be doing their homework on Drake May and Caleb Williams are the Chicago Bears and the Tennessee Titans. Because I don't care who your quarterback is, behind this line, you'll get them killed.
Mm-hmm.
Andre Dillard and Nick Petit-Frere are your tackles. The interior offensive line is awful. You'll get them killed. And so for me, I'm going to chuck Malik Willis out there. And, I hate to do it this way, but it's sink or swim.
Mm-hmm.
I already know how this is going to go. And I'll address quarterback a year from now. The player I want them to come away from this with is Peter Skoronski. Because that's the one high-level talent that you can get that will help that quarterback a year from now. This roster is awful. And it's because you've missed time after time after time in the draft. And so now you just have a lack of talent. And almost all of it is in your front 7 on defense. If you take that away, it's Kevin Byard. End the message, repeat the line.
Mm-hmm.
That's your high-level talent that anybody would have any interest in.
At number 27.
I said nice things about this team the other day. And I feel like – actually, no, I didn't. You know what? I have to put your team here. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I'm surprised you waited this long.
Man, this roster's bad. This is you talk about Ferraris in front of a double wide. That is what this roster is because at the brass tacks of it, you have the high side of Mike Evans and Chris Godwin.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody get them the ball. Oh, you brought back Jamel Dean. Great. You have nobody to rush the passer. I can just do that with every part of this roster. Oh, yeah, and Todd Bowles. Cannot emphasize that enough. Todd Bowles.
No, but they do have players to rush the passer. They just don't have the scheme to do it, apparently. Last year you lost Shaq Barrett before the season even started. So that was a big piece of that going away. I'm not saying they're great. I don't think this team is as bad as you do. The problem is you don't have a quarterback. And if you're bouncing back and forth between Kyle Trask and Baker Mayfield, that's a whole lot of horrible wins. Or
that was cathartic for me.
Horrible losses with very few wins is how I should have said that.
Oh, say it again. Who are those 2 quarterbacks again?
No, I'm not saying it again.
Oh, it's Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask. Just breathe it in, man. Let's go. Oh, your team's awful, and I love it.
They're not as bad as you think, and they're going to win. They're going to win more games than you think this year.
6. Are you better than the Saints right now?
No.
Are you better than the Panthers right now? No. Are you better than the Atlanta Falcons right now?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I think we are.
I don't, because they can at least run the ball. You can't. And I have to say this again, Todd Bowles. I have no faith in this roster. I have no faith in this GM. Baker Mayfield got one legit call in free agency, and it was from the Bucs, and they are doing cartwheels that he's a starting quarterback. That tells me everything you need to know about. That's not my line. That's coming out of your front office.
Yeah,
that's not an opinion.
Have to say that.
I'm not talking about in newspapers. I'm talking about behind closed doors. They think they have gotten one over on the league, that Baker Mayfield has never been coached appropriately. And the fact that they think that is anything that is happening in that building right now tells me just how delusional that franchise is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, now I'm not making this up.
If there's any truth to that, then that's absolutely
that's
false.
what comes out of your front office. When they talk behind closed doors, the exact phrase I heard was, "We got one over on the NFL."
because Baker showed what he was in a limited sample size with the LA Rams, and we were the only ones that saw it. Holy.
In a limited sample size, meaning that fourth quarter
game.
of that game.
One drive. That's what he showed.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, who's the player that we have to come away with in the draft?
Tampa's in a weird spot to me because I feel like you're going to miss the high-end corners. I also don't really feel like that any of them fit your system. So for me, it's a lineman. I think you have to come out of this, and it's Broderick Jones for me. Because he's the one that everybody tells me is falling, and I don't think he should. Paris Johnson's not going to get there. Skoronski's not going to get there. I don't think Osiris Torrance gets there, but he might. And if Broderick Jones is sitting there on the board, that's the piece I think you have to take.
Yep.
And just sink or swim, put him out there with Tristan Wirfs this year. You've got your bookends for the future, and that will be a nice protection for Caleb Williams 1 year from now. Or Quinn Ewers, or whichever one you win too many games to get the one you actually wanted.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I really hate where you're at.
Absolutely. It's Buccaneer football, and it's back. Number 26.
The Green Bay Packers. You're not going to Aaron Rodgers. You're going Jordan Love. So please, for the love of all that's good and holy, explain to me how, in the limited amount you've seen of Jordan Love, you think he's going to be better than Aaron Rodgers was last year. Because to me, that is going to be now, in between my laughs, which there will be a slew of, I need you to explain to me exactly how you think that's going to happen. Because I don't get it. There's not much for me to like here.
No.
There is not much for me to like here, and I hate the fact that you're bringing back the same defense because that was a huge part of your problem. All right, this is not me taking a shot at Green Bay. It's not. I have heard way too much from not even really their fan base, from media and people talking about people that talk in that building. I hope for the good Packer fans that we talk to that your front office is not as delusional as I'm told you are. That you are so insulated because you're in this tiny little market and you have no media, nobody to hold you accountable for any of this. If you honest to God, and this is a direct quote, they think the Jets will cave and give them 2-1s for Aaron Rodgers.
Not going to happen.
I do not know who the crazy person in your front office is, but you need to get rid of them immediately. I think it's Mark Murphy. That's who I firmly, but it's always blamed on Brian Gutekunst. He doesn't have as much power as you think he does. So there is somebody in that building is out of their mind, and you need to eradicate yourself of them badly.
All right, who do they have to have in the draft?
Brian Branch. That's the one that I can't get away from. I feel like that's the move piece. You got to do something with that defense. I mean, because there were times that it just flat out let you down, and the days of Captain Hiawaska coming to the rescue, that's gone. Whether he plays for the Jets or he plays his didgeridoo at his house, he ain't playing for you.
Good luck running the ball to come back in games because that's all you got.
Well, I mean, and now you're going to see 7 in the box because nobody's scared of Jordan Love.
No.
Nobody. And if you want to get a legit look at him, you better get everything you can get right now and make this and try to get through this.
Number 25.
The Chicago Bears. Yep, I have the Chicago Bears ahead of the Green Bay Packers.
Which is not all that spicy to me.
I don't think it is either.
The Green Bay Packers, look at the power rankings. They ain't far off from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You get rid of Aaron Rodgers, that's pretty much the same damn team.
Now,
a little better offensive line. Other than that, it's pretty much the same team.
Now, Jackson Clark asked me in the YouTube comments, why am I still so down on the Bears in spite of all that they've added? Because here's what people don't seem to be understanding. If I get one more person that tells me anything I said about the Bears aged poorly when they haven't played a game, I'm going to scream. All you did was get this roster to an NFL level. Do I think you're at that now? Yes, I do. Your receiver room is good. I don't think it's great. That's seemingly people now think this is just a great receiving corps.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say it's probably in the top half of the league. I like DJ Moore. He's a top 20 receiver. I like Darnell Mooney. He's a high-end slot guy. Chase Claypool, well, we broke up many moons ago. I loved him, and I shan't love him anymore.
Mm-mm.
I think this is a legitimate NFL roster. The problem is I'm not sure you have a legitimate NFL quarterback. And you're going to see it quickly. Okay, the film don't lie. And I've watched Justin Fields, and the issues in that game, in his game, are not what was around him. It's how he plays the game. It's how he processes the game. Because he's been the most athletic player on every field he's ever stepped on, and he's never learned how to get through progressions. So now you gotta go down the rabbit hole. Now you got 3 receivers that are expecting the ball, plus a tight end, and you've got a good running game with Khalil Herbert because I love him. I like the team. I hate your quarterback. And that's just where I'm at. I don't care how many bells and whistles you throw on this. It's not going to change that I don't think he can play quarterback in this league. Now, here's the positive of that. You gave yourself every out known to man. He gets 1 year. Ryan Poles has already told you where he's at. He is going to move on if Justin Fields doesn't prove it to him. And you got all the aim out to get wherever you need to next year with a franchise quarterback because there's 2 of them in the draft. I think Ryan Poles has done the best job in the NFL this offseason. Even if I don't love how the outcome is going to happen this year.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. We are in the middle of the mid-free agency power rankings here in the Sportsocracy. Back in just a few with Jeremy's bangers of the day.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
When I finally drove the old car into the grave, I knew there was only one place I was going to go. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, home of the family plan. And yes, they treat you like family. I went in, told them what I was looking for, told them my budget, and in no time, I was signing the paperwork on my certified pre-owned vehicle. They have the area's largest selection on quality pre-owned vehicles and certified Nissans. They go through a 167-point inspection, so you know it's not going to let you down. They gave me the Carfax report, so I know the history of my vehicle. And the Fred Anderson family plan gives me things like oil changes and car washes and loaner cars if I have to have major work done on the car in the future. For me, buying a car has always been an intimidating thought. But the folks at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville made it super easy. Don't be like me. Don't wait till the last minute to get a deal done. Go to AndersonNissan.com or stop by the showroom at 629 Brevard Road. And don't forget to mention we sent you from the Sportsocracy and get a $250 bonus on your trade-in at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
Running a small business is no small task. At Home Trust Bank, we work hard to prepare businesses for whatever tomorrow may bring. Your dreams are our business. And we have local experts who can help you plan for a successful future. Dependable guidance you need and service you'll appreciate. At Home Trust Bank, we take your small business banking personally. Visit your local Home Trust branch or anytime at htb.com. Member FDIC.
Join us to celebrate the songs and artists you've loved over the past year.
At our 2023 iHeartRadio Music Awards.
Hosted by Lenny Kravitz.
With Innovator Award recipient Taylor Swift.
And performances by iHeart Icon Award recipient Pink, Coldplay, Kelly Clarkson, LL Cool J, Keith Urban, Pat Benatar, and Neil Giraldo, Lotto, Money Long, Cody Johnson, and more.
Watch on Fox and listen on iHeartRadio.
Monday night at 8 p.m.
Wendy's 2 for $6 lets you mix and match some of our best items, like Dave Single with a 10-piece crispy nugs, medium strawberry lemonade with a spicy chicken sandwich, spicy chicken with a Dave Single with a strawberry lemonade, strawberry lemonade, if you're into that. Chicken Sam, crispy nugs, strawberry lemonade, Dave's, nugs, Sam. Whew. Pick what you want at a price you want. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's 2 for $6.
For a limited time, price and participation may vary at U.S. Wendy's. On the card only. Single item at regular price.
Hi, I'm Michelle Obama, and in my new Audible original podcast, I'll be talking with some very special guests about issues that affect all of us, like overcoming self-doubt, building support systems, and being there for others. It's all about kindling the flame inside of you so that we can meet the challenges life throws our way and steady ourselves in uncertain times. I hope you'll get as much insight from these conversations as I did. Listen to the Light Podcast on Audible.
Coffee still closes only. Get them the money.
Then when you get the money, you get the power.
That watch costs more than your car.
Then when you get the power, then you get the woman.
We got you all caught up on March Madness, and now we can get back to the more instant gratification wagers with a decent slate to wager in the NBA. I can't emphasize this enough. These games are total eye broccoli, so wager but don't watch. Don't put yourself through that. This is Green on Green, brought to you by Ingles Markets. Low prices, love the savings. The Washington Wizards are a 1-point dog tonight at the Orlando Magic. Over-under is 225.5. This is a battle of two incredibly young teams with completely different problems. Washington has a superstar in Bradley Beal and a nice piece in Kristaps Porzingis. The problem with the Wizards is as soon as you get past those two, it's a G League roster of guys trying to fill a role. Without Kyle Kuzma, who will be out of the lineup again tonight, there isn't a legitimate third option, which forces Beal and Porzingis to carry an abnormally large workload. In Orlando, they have a couple bigs in Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner that can score. But in spite of having a ton of draft capital wrapped up in the backcourt, there's no one that can get them the ball. Washington still has legitimate aspirations of making the playoffs. Yeah, that's how many teams make it in the NBA. The Magic don't. And even though Washington has been pretty bad on the road, I think they can cover this number and win. Give me the Wizards in the money line. I'll go over the 225.5. This game will get sloppy, and neither of these teams can play dead in the Western defensively. Next, the Cleveland Cavaliers are a 3-point favorite at the Brooklyn Nets. I'm not totally sure that I understand this line. I get that the Nets have some legitimate shooters, and that's the way to combat the size of the Cavaliers. But am I the only one that realizes the Nets couldn't stop a leaky faucet if they cut off the water? Cleveland will get anything and everything that they want, and with no Dorian Finney-Smith, I'm not really sure who the desert thinks is going to stop Donovan Mitchell. The Nets have been the definition of average since trading Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, and that should continue tonight. Cleveland hasn't been great away from home, but they have plenty of firepower to beat the hapless Nets. Give me the Cavs, and I'll lay the 3. Finally, the Detroit Pistons are a 14-point dog in Atlanta. Over-unders 236.5. Okay, there are times that I just see stupid numbers, and I can't help myself, even if I don't have a great explanation for why I'm doing it. The Pistons are awful. This is a young team that's trying to figure out the pieces it has in the hopes that Lottery Claus is getting ready to bring them Victor Wembanyama. That being said, James Wiseman has actually been really good in Detroit, even if he couldn't defend the chair I'm sitting in. The beauty of this matchup, Clint Capella has one of the lowest usage rates in the NBA. All he does is clean up underneath, and I think Wiseman can keep him off the glass tonight. I get that the Pistons aren't good, but neither are the Hawks, and this is just too many points. I mean, the Hawks just lost to the Spurs, who are about one injury away from calling me to see if I can still shoot. Hawks win, Pistons cover the 14, and I'm going under this ridiculous number. Neither one of these teams is good enough to carry an over-under that high. I don't care who they're playing. For more, follow us on all the social medias at The Sportsocracy. And as always, Green on Green is brought to you by Ingles Markets. Love the savings with Ingles. Love the winnings with me. Smile it out.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
There will be an increase in cloud cover tonight with a low eventually cooling down to 38 and some clouds into Wednesday with a potential for some scattered showers developing. The high tomorrow should approach 58 degrees. Not quite as cold for Wednesday night with breaks in the clouds at a low of 46 and certainly some warmer weather on Thursday. It will be sunny with winds increasing out of the southwest and a high climbing to 78. And on Friday, a sunny sky into the afternoon hours as the high gets close to 80. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. The double steak grilled cheese burrito is now at Taco Bell. 2 servings of grilled marinated steak and a melty 3-cheese layer inside, plus grilled bubbly cheese on the outside. At participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only while supplies last. Contact local stores for prices, hours, and participation which vary. Tax extra.
Do you have taxiety? That nervous feeling when you realize it's tax time again, but you don't know how much it could cost you? Don't wait until the last minute to file. Liberty Tax will help you get your maximum refund at our lowest possible price. Our professional services start at just $69. Start your taxes today online at libertytax.com or schedule an in-person appointment with one of our local tax offices. Offer ends April 18th, 2023. Valid at participating locations. Terms and conditions apply. See website or office for details.
Planning for an upcoming trip? It's important to know that updated COVID-19 boosters are currently available at no cost to you. Remember that immunity could take time to build. Check eligibility and schedule at vaccines.gov. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
Careless debris burning is the leading cause of wildfires in North Carolina. Remember to keep your burn pile small, not tall, and never burn on dry, windy days or leave your fire unattended. Learn more at ncforestservice.gov. You are the best defense against wildfires.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news, Willis Reed, who won 2 NBA championships during his Hall of Fame career with the Knicks, has died at the age of 80. Reed, nicknamed the Captain, had been in poor health recently. His most famous moment when he played in Game 7 of the 1970 NBA Finals after missing the previous game with a thigh injury. Grizzlies star Ja Morant met with the media for the first time since his 8-game suspension for conduct detrimental to the NBA ended. He told reporters his counseling to manage stress will be an ongoing process. He was adamant he does not have and has never had an alcohol problem. Morant is expected to return tomorrow against the Rockets, and it's unlikely he has a drop-off in his game, believes ESPN's Tim Legler.
And I don't think mentally he's going to be the type of person that's going to be bothered by it to the extent that it affects his play. I think you're going to see Ja Morant be explosive. He's going to be a guy that's going to be attacking, and I think he's a guy that understands right now there's a lot of scrutiny on him, and he's probably feeling like he really wants to come out and be the best version of himself.
Fairleigh Dickinson's Tobin Anderson has agreed to a 5-year contract to become the next basketball coach at Iona, reports ESPN's Pete Thamel.
Need to spring back into hiring season? You need Indeed, the smart hiring platform that delivers 4 times more hires than all other sites combined, according to Talent Nest. Post a job and hire ASAP. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
It is the Sportsocracy, and we are live in the Ingles studio on ESPN Asheville. We're heard on 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400, and, of course, everywhere you go on the iHeart Radio app, and you can see our lovely faces. On YouTube, just go to thesportsocracy.com. Click the live video link, subscribe to the channel. That gets you into the chat. A lot of reaction on our mid-free agency power rankings on this Power Rankings Tuesday. And we've got some cleanup to do from the end of the last hour. We left off at number 25, where the Chicago Bears came in. This is still a team I don't really get why there's such a leap. Oh, my gosh, they're so much better. Okay, you added 2 linebackers.
You have a legit NFL roster now. You didn't before.
Right, you added 2 linebackers, DJ Moore, which I like. I like DJ Moore, and Deontay Foreman. Yeah. Are you that much better? You're a couple wins better.
Yeah, I would say they win 6-7 games.
Possible. It's quite possible. But one thing we didn't sort out, as we're doing with each of these teams in the power rankings today, what do they have to come away with? Who do they have to come away with in the draft?
Jalen Carter. I think you are the drop dead spot for Jalen Carter. Like, I'm just telling you, there's too many teams that have him off the board, and I'm looking at him going, man, he would look really good in the middle of that defense. And now you're going to have to work really hard to make sure that he doesn't come off the rails. But for me, it's Jalen Carter. I'm not going to trade up to get him, but I think he falls right in my lap at 9.
Okay. I would not hate that move at all. Number 24 in this week's power rankings, the mid-free agency power rankings.
The Atlanta Falcons.
Okay. How did this team get better?
A year older. I mean, I feel like adding Jesse Bates gives you a piece on the defense. They're doing – look, I said this before we went into the offseason. I feel like Arthur Smith might be the safest coach in the NFL because they are going to let him build this roster just absolutely piece by piece. The thing that still scares me is I don't know that you have anybody that can throw the ball. I never liked Desmond Ridder. I don't like him now. I do like that you brought back Caleb McGarry. I feel like you're going to be able to run, and your defense is better, if for nothing else, because it's a year older. But I'm still not 100% sure how you're going to score enough. In terms of what do they need to come away from this draft with, it's Christian Gonzalez. This is where I'm going to get a corner to go with A.J. Terrell. I'll move Casey Hayward into the slot, which is where he belongs. And now the fact that I don't have a no-doubt pass rusher, I like Arnold Ebiketie, but I still think he's a little raw. And that will mitigate some of that because now my secondary is good. I've got Jesse Bates on the back end. I've still got Richie Grant, who I've always had a weird affinity for. And I'm looking at the secondary going, this is pretty good. Defensively, yeah, I still need a pass rusher. I'm not quite sure where that's going to come from. I've heard people talk about them taking Will McDonald's. But please stop that, okay?
At the top of the draft or in the second round?
Oh, Mel Kiper has him at 13 overall. Yeah. He weighs 230 pounds soaking wet. Okay. But at the combine, yeah. You ever heard of spaghetti? Spaghetti's cool. You know why? Because you can eat about 9 pounds of it, and it makes you weigh more than you do. He was 2 pounds lighter at the combine than he was at stop. He's a situational pass rusher. If you get him in the second round, more power to you. I'm just that's not where I'm at yet.
Right. I was watching the NASCAR race on Sunday, and they were down in Atlanta, and they brought out Warwick Dunn and Desmond Ridder as the faces of the Atlanta Falcons organization, and I went, we could possibly look back on this in a couple of years and go, hey, remember that time they trotted Desmond Ridder out as the face of the franchise that one time?
Wasn't that awesome?
And then everybody went, cool. Oh, wait, he's not good at football.
Oh, wait, he's really awful at this game.
Number 23.
The Las Vegas Raiders. Are you really better?
It's hard. It's hard for me to think that this team's not worse than this. But look at these other teams.
I was about to say, who am I supposed to put them behind?
Right.
I still think they're going to be able to score points. I just don't think they're going to be able to stop anybody from scoring points. And they're the weirdest team for me in the top of all the teams in the top 10. I don't really know what you're supposed to add that's supposed to make me feel better. And you've added all these pieces like Jerry Tillery and Robert Spillane and Marcus Epps, who was bad.
It kind of to
Houston
me
Texans.
kind of looks like another New England build somewhere else in the NFL.
The Houston Texans. That's exactly what it looks like.
Yeah. Except for they're using way more former New England Patriots players than the Houston Texans.
And they have way more players on offense. Way. The player I feel like they have to come away from this draft with. And I'm not 100% sure how this would work. It's Tyree Wilson.
Okay.
I don't know what he does in the NFL. I know he is a physical freak of nature, and I think he can play on the interior. And you're going to have to develop him as time goes on. And where I'm looking at him is he can play in four-man fronts immediately because on the interior of that line, they're not good. And I know you think that Jerry Tillery is going to bring you something. There's a reason I keep saying that name. And I think you could get some. If there's a coordinator that I think could get the most out of him, it would be Patrick Graham.
Okay.
And if I can get some form of pass rush, I know somebody's going to say, but what about a corner? Well, there are a lot of those as the draft goes on. And yes, you could have the best one, but I can still avoid. I could just avoid him. All right, let's say you draft Christian Gonzalez. All right, I'm just not going to throw at him. He'll sit over there. He'll be very good. He'll cut the field in half, and whoever's on the other side is going to get absolutely obliterated.
Mm-hmm.
So if I have somebody else that can get after the passer, then I feel like that will mitigate some of my problems. It's not going to fix it. I mean, this defense is clunky, but it could at least help.
Mm-hmm. So they need to come away with Tyree Wilson in the draft.
That's the one I feel like.
But the chances are they're probably not going to draft. What are we still on Anthony Richardson at 7?
I don't know. They're the hardest team in the league to read. I hear that they love Anthony Richardson, but they believe that Garoppolo's the guy. And are you really going to let Josh McDaniels and I always forget his name, the GM of this team,
Dolph Ziggler,
Dave Ziegler.
Yeah.
Are you really going to let them draft your quarterback of the future? And if this doesn't work out, then he's got to learn another system. And I'm not sure how he fits in that system. And now I have to hire a coach that fits with the quarterback.
No, you got
that's
the guy.
just too many. That's too many steps.
Yeah, you got the guy that knows the system. It's Jimmy Garoppolo. Congratulations. Stick with him for the next 2 years. And then when you fire your head coach, then you can go look for that quarterback. Build around him. Do the Detroit Lions thing.
And that's where I'm at. I agree with you wholeheartedly.
At number 22.
The Minnesota Vikings.
Oh, what a fall they have taken.
What do they do better right now than they did a year ago?
Nothing.
This is also a team I hear a lot of weird trade rumors around. They've talked to teams about Dalvin Cook. And Kirk Cousins could be an option for the Jets if they can't get this Aaron Rodgers thing done. That's a lot of moving parts on a team that was the 2 in the NFC last year.
Yeah, but again,
luckiest 2 in the history.
Right, lucky wins are cyclical. You get those one possession wins, and you got 11 of them last year. Chances are you're not going to be there. You're going to take a step back here. You're going through an era change. There wasn't really the massive shift in 1 year when you brought in the new head coach. Right? You didn't have any major changes.
No. I mean, you've changed the defense completely.
Right, but that time has to come is what I'm saying. Now you got Adam Thielen is gone. He was cut loose. Carolina's now signed him. You have to find other options now.
Jackson Clark in our YouTube comment said the Vikings wins weren't lucky. You won 11 one-score games. Or they won 11.
That's 100% lucky.
One-score games are very – they're very 50-50 ball in basketball.
Mm-hmm. Buffalo Bills, was that not a lucky win?
100% it was lucky.
Not lucky that Josh Allen dropped the ball in his own end zone?
And I also still can't just get away from the fact of you played the Dallas Cowboys and got beat like a kettle drum.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at this roster and go, this is not going to age all that well because their corners on the outside are awful. Well, he's signed Byron Murphy, who plays almost exclusively in the slot. So now I go Andrew Booth and was it a Caleb Evans?
Mm-hmm.
That's both guys, and I liked both of those guys coming out of college. But you just don't have a guy. There's not a dog. And I look at Byron Murphy and go, you did that with the whole intention of Amon-Ra St. Brown, Christian Watson, and Darnell Mooney, DJ Moore.
Yep.
Of you're looking in the division going, I got to have somebody that stops somebody in the slot. There's nothing I can do on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, yeah, you could throw another draft pick at it, but why? So now you got 3 young corners that you're cycling on the outside? No, your path was to go get a vet, and you didn't do that.
So who's the player they have to have in the draft?
This one's tough because if there's one position I do not get a good read on of how it's going to fall in the draft, it's wide receiver. And there's a guy that I keep hearing get pushed down, and the thought of him on the opposite side of Justin Jefferson just it does a lot for me. It's Quentin Johnson out of TCU. I keep hearing he's not going to go in the top 20, which I cannot wrap my head around. But now if you want to be able to shoot out with people, you put that guy on the opposite end of Justin Jefferson and just watch defenses go, oh, boy, just full Ralph Wiggum. I'm in danger. And that opens up things for Dalvin Cook or Alexander Madison or whoever the running back is. I've always liked the line.
Right. But I feel like you have to have the quarterback to make that work.
I'm fine with Kirk Cousins.
I am too, but that's what I'm saying. It makes all of these trade rumors seem very weird of none of this works without Kirk Cousins.
Well, and that's my thing with Minnesota is that there's way too many things that don't make a lot of sense. Miami made calls on Dalvin Cook. There's a reason they re-signed Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson right after the start of the league year. They were locked in on Dalvin Cook, and they didn't like what they heard back.
Mm-hmm.
So you wouldn't have said that if you wouldn't have even fielded those calls if there wasn't a part of you going, we could have a rebuild, not a retooling, not necessarily a rebuild. As I just don't know where their brain is. You signed a lot of young guys and Marcus Davenport on a 1-year prove-it deal. I don't know what to do there. So, I mean, I can't have them any higher than this. I feel like this team is going to take a massive regression.
All right, let's get one more in before the break. Number 21 in our mid-free agency period power rankings here in the Sportsocracy.
The Carolina Panthers.
All right, the Panthers come in at number 21 after, well, most of the season we had them ranked, right in the bottom 5. So lots of improvement this offseason.
No doubt. Is the roster better right now than it was a year ago?
Yes.
Yes. Is the coaching staff better than it was a year ago?
100%.
100 times better. But I still look at this and go, you're putting a rookie quarterback in a very bad situation. I don't really like any of the quarterbacks going into what you have done to them unless your goal is to see what shakes out after June 1 and see what veterans become available, whatever the case may be. There's got to be another move. You cannot tell me you're starting this year with this combination of weapons. So I'm going to give Carolina and what I think is a really good staff and a front office that I like and maybe I'm not being rational on, the benefit of the doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Of, okay, there's another step. I just don't know what it is.
Well, there's been talk about DJ Shark for the last week.
And so it does nothing for me. That's another 3. So now you have now completely filled my dating card from before I met Amy because you now have just a room full of 3s. That doesn't move me. I need a receiver that I know my young guy can count on. You have a lot of guys that can they get open? Yes. DJ Chark is a great over-the-top high flyer, and I love him to death as a 2. I don't love him as a 1.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what he would be.
Mm-hmm.
He would be the de facto 1.
Yes.
He is an over-the-top threat that I've already seen do that in Jacksonville, and it gave me absolutely nothing. As a 2, he's good where somebody can take coverage off of him because he runs by you real, real well. In terms of it's 3rd and 7, and I need to know who's going to get open. And I feel like C.J. Stroud looks around and goes, I cannot trust not one of you to win one-on-one. That terrifies me with a rookie because that is going to swell interception numbers. That is going to swell confidence issues. All of that bothers me. That being said, I do feel like there's another move coming. For them, it's the most obvious pick in this entire thing. The player you come away from with this is C.J. Stroud. He is the safest of the quarterbacks.
Yes.
And I think he's the one that can come in right away with what you have and be a day one starter. I think that is who you went to get. Now, please put that to rest so we can stop having people say, do you think they're taking Anthony Richardson? Please, God, don't do that. I'm telling you, I can't be nice. If you do it, I can't be nice.
No. It'll be an abject disaster.
I will laugh until I piddle in my pants. And now I don't think that's happening. I cannot fathom how Frank Reich would go, yeah, let's do that.
Mm-hmm. Especially let's trade up, give up that much to get up there and get Anthony
That
Richardson.
would be the unmitigated disaster part of it.
Mm-hmm.
You go get C.J. Stroud, and you pander to his strengths because he does have a good deep ball arm. And that's why it would make sense with DJ Chark. And maybe you try it for a year and you think he's mentally strong enough to get over some of these things quickly in your system. It's just, I don't like not having a guy.
The Carolina Panthers at number 21 in the mid-free agency power rankings here in the Sportsocracy. We'll pick up with the bottom of the top 20 next.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
We're seeing some heavy traffic on 26 westbound between NC 146 and NC 191. More stop and go on 112 heading northbound between NC 191 and Sand Hill Road. Slow traffic on 26 westbound between Broadway Street and Elk Mountain Road. And traffic is flowing freely on 240 westbound between US 70 and Haywood Street. I'm Elena Vegso with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors. You do anything to keep your vehicle happy. Let's make sure it stays running smoothly. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, the right parts are just a click away. When you see the green check, you know that part will fit. Get the right parts at the right price. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Cleaning the inside of your house is easy, but the outside is where most people need a little help. WNC Wash Pros are the highest rated exterior cleaning company in North Carolina with a 100% satisfaction clean guarantee. Whether you need your walkways pressure washed or the outside of the house scrubbed clean, we will kill all organic growth to preserve your paint and extend the life of your roof with our gentle and soft approach. Call us at 828-560-WASH or visit our website at WNCWashPros.com for a free estimate today.
From local town councils to Capitol Hill, agents who are realtors are standing up for what's right. We're here protecting property rights. Here advocating for the issues that affect our neighborhoods. Here championing fair and equitable housing for all. Because we are realtors, bound by a code of ethics, driven to serve our communities. We're here for it all. Here for you. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Our communities are filled with wonderful people who make living here great. At Home Trust Bank, we're proud of that, and that's why we focus on helping homeowners prepare for what's next. Our local mortgage bankers have the experience you need and exceptional personal service you'll appreciate. Home Trust Bank is ready to help make a house your home. When it's time to buy, visit your local Home Trust branch or go to htb.com/mortgage.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelly Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
The Sportsocracy.
These guys are a f***ing disgrace.
It's ESPN Asheville. This is the Sportsocracy, and it is a Power Rankings Tuesday. It is the mid-free agency NFL Power Rankings, where we are up to number 20. Just had the Carolina Panthers check in at number 21. It's been a good offseason for the Panthers. I feel like they're building for the future. Got to get C.J. Stroud in the upcoming draft. That's what Flostradamus is doing for us today in these Power Rankings. Each and every team ranked, and each and every team with the must-have from the 2023 NFL Draft. At number 20.
You got to turn the mic on.
Yeah.
The Denver Broncos.
I don't know.
I think you can run the ball.
I don't really know what to make of what the Broncos have done, because I'm really not sure where this places them. I feel like they have a pretty high side with Sean Payton, but what I saw of Russell Wilson last year makes me throttle that back massively.
This ain't hard to figure out. They've offered every receiver they have in trades. You just built the biggest right side of an offensive line that I've ever seen. What does that tell you?
Oh, they're going to run a lot.
Oh, they're going to run a lot. A whole lot.
Coming off an injury is Javonte Williams. You went and got Samaje Perine.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a whole lot of ground game.
This is going to be the nastiest offense you've ever seen in terms of palatability to watch. But it also mitigates the risk with Russell Wilson. Do I think he can still make high-level throws? Yes.
Yes.
I think he needs somebody that was much more catered to him than Nathaniel Hackett was. I feel like Nathaniel Hackett went to Denver with the intention that Aaron Rodgers was going to follow him there.
Right.
And then Russell Wilson was like the prize in the bottom of a Cracker Jack box, and he went, well, that doesn't make me feel great. I don't even kind of want that. And it just never worked.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, Russell has to be the guy to realize that he's not as good if he's just going to try to sit back in the pocket and play. That's not his game. That's not what made him good. It's not what made him a winner.
And Sean Payton's not going to do that.
No.
I feel like he is mitigating this as much as he can with the ability to run. They're going to play good defense. You need to stop turning the ball over so much. And Sean Payton, I believe, will be able to do that.
Mm-hmm. Who do they need in the draft?
This is kind of hard because they don't pick until the fourth pick of the third round. I'm going to go with a player that I haven't had the ability to talk about yet.
Okay.
And I really like how he fits into the front with Denver. Zach Pickens. He's one of those 5 techniques from South Carolina. I feel like he can move and do different things. Look, I don't mind where you're at edge rusher-wise. Now, if you think you're going to go into the third round and find some situational pass rusher, good luck with that. You know how hard it is to take quarterbacks? I could argue, harder to find an edge rusher like that, especially at this point. Zach Pickens plays one of those positions that's not necessarily all that valued. I think he's a 3-4 end, basically. But I think he's a really good player. And he's going to fall because he plays one of those positions that's very scheme-specific, and I think he would be a perfect fit with the Denver Broncos.
Fair enough. Number 19.
The Washington Commanders. I love Sam Howell. I love Sam Howell.
I mean,
I am in love with Sam Howell.
I mean, I do too.
He's still Sam Howell.
Right.
All right.
There's a lot of development that still needs to happen there to make him a legit quarterback in this league. Eric Bieniemy coming in, I think, is, again, this is his time to shine. Eric Bieniemy, as, his former head coach, Andy Reid, said he needs to go to a place where he can be the guy, calling the shots and running the show. That's exactly what he's going to get with Ron Rivera in Washington. So can he make Sam Howell a top half of the league quarterback in season 1?
Season 1, no. I think Sam Howell he will look much like Kenny Pickett looked last year. That's where I think he's a more athletic version of that, but you will see some really good. There will be some bad. They will win some games. I think you're very clearly the worst team in your own division. That's the problem. I'm just not sure that the biggest problem with the Bieniemy thing is if he turns this offense into a top half of the league offense, he's going to be a head coach somewhere else next year.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're kind of back to square one with Sam Howell learning a new system. And I don't love that. This feels a little low to me, but I can't have him above anybody else because at the end of the day, I come back to your quarterback and go, you have one of the great question marks in this league.
Mm-hmm.
I like a lot of the things they've done, and I love that they brought in Jacoby Brissett to back him up. But I can't have you any higher than this.
Okay. So where do they go in the draft?
Well, they pick right in the middle of the first round. I feel like they have mitigated enough of their problems that there's not something you have to do. So I'm going to go with a player that I'm just higher on than it seems like the industry is, Devin Witherspoon. I think he is a dog. And it just seems like, for some reason, Joey Porter and Christian Gonzalez have bypassed him. And that doesn't make a ton of sense to me.
Okay.
Not that, I'm fine with them being 1-2. I just don't like that it's 1-2, huge drop-off to Devin Witherspoon. That doesn't make sense to me. The tape doesn't bear that out. And I don't feel like you have to chase a lineman now because you signed Andrew Wiley.
Mm-hmm. You got a couple of offensive linemen in free agency. Andrew Wiley is the big name among them. Haven't done really anything else in this free agency period.
Yeah, I signed Cameron Dantzler, which is a decent young dart throw at corner.
Mm-hmm.
And they've done a lot of that. I don't have to do anything. Wiley's good enough to play on the right side. I've still got Leno on the left. I don't have to take a lineman. I don't have to take a corner. They don't have a biggest need, per se.
All right,
linebacker, but there's not one to take at 16.
One more before the break here, number 18.
This is a team that I have heard just a mess of times of people shocked that I haven't put them on the board yet. The New England Patriots. Yeah, I do. I mean, I talk a good amount of smoke for New England. But guess what? They fall in the same place they fall in every time we do this. 16, 17, 18.
Mm-hmm.
They're the definition of league average. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. You can make some playoff appearances. You're not a threat to anybody.
No.
Well, we beat the Jets every year. Great. A lot of people do. Seemingly every year. What do you want me to tell you? I mean, do you think Buffalo looks at New England and goes, oh, God, what are we going to do with him?
Well, I mean, you know what
they
that
got
is.
a quarterback that runs a 6'2". You don't have one receiver that even kind of scares me. And you have a
Juju?
200 – stop.
Juju doesn't scare you?
As a one? He was a mediocre receiver with Pat Mahomes. What do you think he's going to be with Mac Jones? No, there's nobody that scares you. I mean, this is the same team it's been now for 3 years. I've been right about this team 2 years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be right on the line of the playoffs, and you get in there and get just spanked because you're not a high-level team. But this is the problem with taking Mac Jones. I said it the minute you drafted him. I said it the minute you signed Cam Newton. You're in this vicious cycle of competitive, and you can do this for several years. It's just never going to elicit what you want it to. That's not me hating on anything. You tell me right now what I just said that's not true.
Oh, no, I hear no lies.
I catch more flack for being a Patriots hater.
Because you're a Jets fan.
Of course, I mean, I didn't say I didn't know why it was.
That's why everybody jumps to, oh, why are you talking smack about my team? Your team sucks too. Well, stop that. That's not what we're doing here. Like, fandom aside, look at this team objectively and go, are they good? Are they not good? And the thing with New England is you're going to end up on both sides of the aisle 50% of the time.
Yeah. You'll end up in the playoffs half the time. You'll end up just out. That's not shade. That, frankly, probably half the league would kill to be where you are.
Latest signing for New England, I guess, is the Mike Gesicki pickup.
It's just it doesn't.
We'll see.
It doesn't make sense for that scheme, but I get tired of saying that.
Well, it's a Bill O'Brien scheme now, and he apparently has a plan. He has a history with Mike Gesicki. He recruited him to Penn State, so maybe he's got a plan of how he wants this to work. I think that's going to be the biggest help for them over everything that they have added and could add through the offseason here is actually getting an offensive coordinator. I don't care that it's a retread of Bill O'Brien.
Yeah, I don't care. Bill O'Brien was a good coach. He was a terrible personnel guy.
Yes. So what do the Patriots need in the draft?
I'm gonna will this into existence. It's Jackson Smith-Njigba. He's the best natural receiver in the draft. There are some personality quirks that not everybody loves. He's not gonna run as fast as you want him to. Watch the film. Him, Devontae Parker, Mike Gesicki. I mean, that gives you. I would say that's one notch above what you have with the Carolina Panthers. That's a whole slew of 2.5s, which, when you run the ball that well, that might work. I mean, again, it's not going to win you 10 games, but it might win you 9.
Mm-hmm. And maybe win you 10 down the road with a different quarterback. And Bill Belichick said they're not drafting Jackson Smith-Njigba. They're the hardest team in the NFL to figure out. They'll probably take Siaki Ika, and blood will come out of my ears, and that would have been a great pick 2 rounds from now. And it'll probably work. It's the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get weird, and then we'll continue with the mid-free agency power rankings of all teams in the NFL and what you need to get in the NFL draft.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
There will be an increase in cloud cover tonight with a low eventually cooling down to 38 and some clouds into Wednesday with the potential for some scattered showers developing. The high tomorrow should approach 58 degrees. Not quite as cold for Wednesday night with breaks in the clouds at a low of 46 and certainly some warmer weather on Thursday. It will be sunny with winds increasing out of the southwest and a high climbing to 78. And on Friday, a sunny sky into the afternoon hours as the high gets close to 80. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
We're seeing some heavy traffic on 26 heading westbound between NC 146 and NC 191. More stop than go on 112 northbound between NC 191 and Sand Hill Road. Slow traffic on 26 westbound between Broadway Street and Elk Mountain Road. Traffic is flowing freely on 240 westbound between US 70 and Haywood Street. And we're still seeing that long-term construction on I-40 both east and westbound between US 25 and NC 2531. I'm Elena Vegso with your Time Saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. During Staples Teacher Palooza, teachers save big, or you save, like 20% on all Crayola products, plus 80-count Lysol disinfecting wipes, or only $1.99. In-store only. Offer ends $3.25 while supplies last. Help your favorite teacher stock their classroom at Staples.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Tara, quote, "My doctor wanted me to do saline rinses for my allergies, but I've never been able to successfully use a neti pot. Navage uses suction power, so it's foolproof. There are nights when I'll have particularly bothersome allergies. I'll bust it out, and the results are immediate. It's such a relief. It's become a lifesaver." Unquote. She's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
Did you know that Ingles sells more organics than any other grocery store? Or that they run their own dairy? Or that they only serve USDA Choice and Prime meat? Or that they donate 3,956 meals a day to local food banks? Well, now you do. It's all in the bag.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com. It is the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. We are in the midst of our mid-free agency power rankings. Coming up next, we'll have the number 17 team in the upcoming NFL season. No smiles. Stop drinking, please. In the YouTube comments, he was asked, what record with the New England Patriots does he think they'll have this season? 11-6. Good for you.
7-10, 8-9, 9-8. That's right. 3 years in a row. And then where you been? 3 years in a row.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
I'm going to give an update to a story that Jeremy told us. Was that earlier? No, I guess it wasn't earlier this week since it's only Tuesday. This was last week. He told the story about the cesium-137 steel tube container, radioactive container that went missing in Thailand. It was a piece of a power plant that had just disappeared. They don't know where it went. But we need to find it because it's a radioactive material. Well, they found it. That's the good news. The bad news is the shape that they found the steel tube in. It was no longer tubular. I mean, and it's not really recognizable all that much. The only reason that they found it was because they had to run a whole bunch of tests to see if there was radioactive material in the area. So I guess they got a tip that there was possibly some radioactive material at this steel foundry. It is the largest in the region of Thailand where they found it in. And the problem is that they were hoping that the steel tube was still contained, that it was still all in one piece, because inside of it, once that thing gets broken open, then the radioactive material, the cesium-137, kind of leaks out and has the potential to cause injuries, cause burns, and in long term cause cancer in the people that are exposed to it. Well, it was at the steel foundry, and it had already been chopped up into little cubes to be smelted into something else.
Smelted, that's a great word.
Yes. So they've had to shut down the complete foundry. They sent every worker home. Now everyone is having to be tested for possible exposure to this. And T's and P's. T's and P's for all those workers, just unbeknownst to them, were cutting open radioactive material. Hope nobody gets seriously ill from it, but it wouldn't be the first time in this country's history that something like that had happened. 1,800 people were exposed to a similar situation back in 2000.
Which is just confounding. Maybe take care of your radioactive things. My story is from California. Speaking of things we've done a lot of times, a movie just came out, Scream 6. Because
did it really?
God only knows we needed another one of those. You want me to tell you the plot of this movie? I haven't seen it. There's a guy in a costume. He calls pretty girls and then kills them. And we do this until some random person comes and takes him out. Am I close? Anybody seen it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, 6 times or 5 times.
I've actually seen Scream 6 times. They just kept calling it different things. Well, when the movie came out about roughly 2 weeks ago, there was a theater in California that was showing all-day showings of this for 24 hours. Well, Paramount, who put out the movie, came up with this brilliant idea to get an actor to play Ghostface, the killer in the series, and dress them up in costume and put them on the sidewalk down the street. What did that lead to?
Panic.
7 911 calls.
Sheer utter panic.
Multiple cop cars responding, thinking that there was someone harassing the world. Do you know they figured out that this guy wasn't actually a menace?
How?
He had to pull out his Actors Guild card, and Paramount sent me here.
Show them your papers.
I don't know. I just work here. Okay, the last thing I acted in was a Viagra commercial in 2014.
Was he armed? Did he have like a fake knife that he was wielding around?
He was just in the costume, like dancing around, like, hey, come see the same movie for the 6th time.
I don't see why that should be alarming to anyone. Oh my God, it's the Ghostface guy.
I don't know. I mean, I've seen the video because, of course, 4 people had to pull out their cell phone and record it. And frankly, I've been more scared by birds in the government today.
Mid-free agency power rankings roll on here in the Sportsocracy. Number 17. That's your part.
I'm going to remember that line when you forget to turn my microphone.
Yes.
The Pittsburgh Steelers. Look, I like what they've done. I think Pittsburgh has crushed it in this free agency period. Isaac Seumalo, great signing. I like the line markedly better than I did. You still don't have a tackle. And that concerns me a bit. I also don't know exactly who's going to play corner for you. But you did catch one huge break in that the Philadelphia Eagles re-signed both of their guys. Which means there is a chance one of these high-level corners is going to fall to you, which is the player they need in this draft.
Okay.
Joey Porter Jr. I don't care if you have to go up and get him. I don't care if you have to make a move. You have an extra second-round pick from the Chicago Bears. You have the ammo to make this happen. And this is not just the story. He fits this scheme so well.
Mm-hmm.
Tackle, yeah, I would like for there to be a tackle. You're either going to take Broderick Jones too high, or somebody would have to fall in your lap, and that's kind of hard for me to believe with the Titans and the Jets and all of these teams sitting in front of you. I struggle to believe one of those guys is going to fall in your lap. I cannot get away from the thought that Philadelphia makes a move and trades down from 10 to 17 with Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh comes up to get Joey Porter.
Okay.
I can't get away from it. And I know there's the story of his dad played for the Steelers.
But why
it's
would
not
they do
that. Why would Philadelphia do that?
Yeah.
We'll get into that in a little bit.
Okay.
Because there's a player that just makes so much sense for them.
And they can have him later in the draft.
Possibly.
Okay.
There's only 2 players that I doubled up on the you have to come out of this draft with this guy. And one of them is because I cannot get a read on where he goes. And the other is because there's really only one of these in the draft, and both of these teams need them.
Yep. You have one more key addition that you have to make to the offensive line.
You need a tackle.
Yeah, I think you need another weapon too.
Look, the Pittsburgh Steelers are the best team in the NFL at finding a 4th-round wide receiver that becomes an all-pro.
Mm-hmm.
I could care less. And I give you 10 potentials of who it could be, and they'll find a way to find a receiver at the end of day 2, beginning of day 3, that they just put in the slot, and now all of a sudden it all works hunky-dunky.
Mm-hmm.
I will never say receiver. They could have me playing receiver. I will never say that's their biggest need.
Yep.
Because no team in the NFL does a better job drafting a position than the Pittsburgh Steelers.
No doubt.
There's probably not another team in the NFL that does a worse job of drafting a position than the Pittsburgh Steelers drafting corners, which is why I'm saying go get a dog.
I mean, I realize that I realize he's the biggest name that they added in this offseason, but I mean, Patrick Peterson, while not what he once was, he's still a very useful piece. You don't think Mike Tomlin is going to be able to get something out of him on the defensive side of the ball? I do. 100%. Number 16.
The Cleveland Browns.
Is just a hair over the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Let me put it this way. All 3 teams that are in the AFC North that are not named the Cincinnati Bengals. If you set your watch right now, you'll hear all 3 of their names in the next 5 minutes.
Okay.
Because I think they're all 3 very similar. They all have a great big hole, but the talent on the roster is really good. Cleveland has the best quarterback. Yes, Deshaun Watson's better than Lamar Jackson. No, I don't think it's all that close. Baltimore's the best drafting team. Pittsburgh's probably the deepest. I don't know that there's a huge amount of difference between them, and it's all going to come down to what happens when you play each other. Now, I like what Cleveland has done. You've added some pieces. I'm not as in love with Dalvin Tomlinson as seemingly everybody else is.
It's not just that. It's the culmination of all the pieces that they have added. He's one of, 3 defensive tackles that they've added just to give them some depth in the middle of this line.
Oh, I like what Cleveland's done.
Right, and so it's not the home run signing, but he is the best run stopper that you probably could have gotten. And then Okoronkwo being added to the outside of that line is going to be really good for them.
Look, half of this defense took a drastic step back last year, excuse me. And I think Jim Schwartz is going to help that. You get into this point, which is where I think I'm at right now. I feel like Cleveland is exactly the same team as one other team in the NFL.
Okay.
But they play in a much tougher division. And it's the next team on the list.
Okay.
The New Orleans Saints.
Oh, okay.
They're the same team. One of them plays in the worst division in football. One of them plays in probably the 3rd best. That's the only difference I can find between the 2.
Okay.
I mean, do you disagree with what I just said?
That the Browns are like the Saints? Not really.
Okay. All right. You tell me which team I'm talking about. I have a really good running back that is the center of my offense. I have one weapon that legitimately scares you. I have another that when he's healthy, it's fun and hunky-dunky. And I have a really good defense. You
sounds
see how that
similar?
Yeah, it sounds. New Orleans and Cleveland, they fit into the exact same mold. The only reason I had New Orleans a spot higher is because I get 6 games with the Buccaneers, the Falcons, and the Panthers.
You've got a gauntlet to face in your division.
Mm-hmm.
Who was the player that the Browns need in the draft?
A receiver.
Just any.
They pick in the middle of the second round. It's really hard for me to get a beat on who that's going to be. I personally want it to be somebody that can beat me, or that I can beat you with over the top. I like David Bell, but he was always just a satellite player of I want to get the ball in his hand, and then he does. I need somebody that can legitimately beat you over the top. That's what I felt like Cleveland's offense was missing, even when Deshaun came back.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, yeah, I would love for it to be Zay Flowers. He's not going to fall that far. Jalen Hyatt is the name I'm going to say.
Okay.
Because I feel like he's going to come in and be able to do that immediately. And there's a lot of small little shifty guys that can play in the slot in this class. How many of them fit? How many of them wind up this late? I'm not going to say I'm guessing. It's an educated guess at this point. But Jalen Hyatt's the one I'm going to say right here.
Mm-hmm. When I hear I need a second-round wide receiver in this draft, I go, well, one of the Tennessee guys has got to be there.
Cedric Tillman's more of a third-round, beginning of the
Is
three.
he? Okay.
Yeah, he's fallen. And it's not really because he did anything. It's because he didn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's been one of the fun parts of this cycle is that there have been players that have fallen just solely because you didn't really impress me. You didn't run all that fast, or you didn't run at all. And it's the receiver course turned into this just great big blob of.
All right, the Cleveland Browns at 16, number 15. He's already said it's the New Orleans Saints. We'll talk about them and their offseason up next.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is stopped on 26 westbound and the road is closed due to an accident between US 70 and Broadway Street. Heavy traffic on 240 westbound between US 70 and US 19. Traffic is flowing freely on 26 eastbound between I-40 and 146, as well as between US 25 and US 70. And we're still seeing that long-term construction on I-40 both east and westbound between US 25 and NC 2531. I'm Elena Vegso with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. During Staples Teacher Palooza, teachers save big, or you save, like 20% on all Crayola products, plus 80-count Lysol disinfecting wipes are only $1.99. In-store only, offer ends $3.25 while supplies last. Help your favorite teacher stock their classroom at Staples.
I switched to Boost Mobile and got a free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone. Want to know the best part?
It was free?
Nope.
The fact that it's on America's largest 5G networks?
Nope. It's the ding.
Oh yeah, love the ding.
Right? It's all about the ding. It's the dingarooski, the dingaroner, the ring-a-ding-ding.
Unleash your power to save with Boost. Get a free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone when you switch. Boost Mobile. Unleash your power.
And the ding.
Limited time offer. New customers only. Available on select networks. 5G not available everywhere. One device per line. Tax excluded. Additional restrictions apply. See your local Boost Mobile store for details.
Wendy's 2 for $6 lets you mix and match some of our best items, like Dave Single with a 10-piece crispy nugs, medium strawberry lemonade with a spicy chicken sandwich, spicy chicken with a Dave Single with a strawberry lemonade, strawberry lemonade, if you're into that. Chicken Sam, crispy nugs, strawberry lemonade, Dave's, nugs, Sam. Whew. Pick what you want at a price you want. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's 2 for $6.
For a limited time, price and participation may vary at U.S. Wendy's. On the card only. Single item at regular price.
I think it's just vapor. Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as one pack of cigarettes. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
It's time to discover the convenience and time savings of contact-free pickup with Ingles Curbside. Just visit shop.ingles-markets.com or download the app. And your Ingles personal shopper gets to work with specialized training on how to select the freshest items for a pre-scheduled pickup. They'll even text you with updates. You pull up to a designated space and your personal shopper delivers your items right to your vehicle. Fresh, fast, and affordable. It's all in the bag. Ingles. Low prices. Love the savings.
We are in the middle of our mid-free agency power rankings here in the Sportsocracy before the Sports Center update here at the top of the hour. Got a few more teams we want to get out of the way here. We got to work our way to the top 2 tiers of the NFL. The New Orleans Saints, their offseason, obviously, with the Derek Carr signing, Jamal Williams as well. What do they need to add in the NFL draft to make them better than the 15 spot you put them in? That's your job.
That's your job. A lot of Saints fans really came at me for not giving them an interior defensive tackle. Well, you signed 2 that everything they say is that they really like. The other problem is that I don't necessarily think one of them is going to be there. So this is the only team in the league that I gave 2, solely because they felt cheated on the last mock draft. So Brian Breeze would be, if you're going defensive tackle, that's the one you should go attempt to sign, because he would play nicely inside of Kalen Saunders or Nathan Shepard.
Mm-hmm.
If it were me, it would be Deonte Banks, the cornerback out of Maryland, because Paulson Adebo should be playing in the slot. I've now said that for what feels like 5 years. And Marshawn Lattimore is the big physical corner. I need the really athletic one that can keep up with the high-flyer deep ball receivers. That's just me. But I also think the difference between Brian Breeze at the end of the first and I'll say a slew of other guys that I could get in day 2 is not that significant to me.
At number 14, it's the
Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, the Ravens. Are they going to get Lamar Jackson settled? That's the big question.
Of course. To me, that's never been in doubt because you have to. It's better for both of you. I'm just not sure how much I care.
Oh, if they don't have Lamar Jackson,
have him,
they
they're
tumble.
bad. Yeah, if they don't have him, they're bad. All right, but with him, I still have the problems of, well, in December, you seem to never be available, and your greatest ability is your availability. So that becomes problematic for me. And then I get to this point where I start looking at other teams. I don't know who I'm supposed to have them in front of. I mean, we got a lot of, the Saints should be higher or the Browns should be higher. Okay, this is the borderline playoff contenders tier. You can take any of these 5, put them in any order you want to. I'd probably get me to agree on it. But I can't put any of them not even one spot higher.
You got to get the Lamar thing done. If you do that, what do you need in the draft?
Zay Flowers. Go get the Marquise Brown part 2, because that is what Lamar Jackson was missing last year. If I can't hurt you over the top and take that extra player out of the box, it's a lot easier to defend Lamar.
Mm-hmm.
So I need somebody over the top.
All right, and the last one of the hour here, the New York Football Giants.
The New York Football Giants. This all falls on Brian Daboll. Look, I didn't think you were that great last year. You brought back Daniel Jones. He's now much more paid than he was before. You got Saquon Barkley back. I feel like you're making little moves. Paris Campbell's a nice high upside, low floor, and you get a year older. And you play in the NFC, which is, when in doubt, I'm always going to defer to the NFC team because your schedule is just so much easier.
Mm-hmm. So who do they need?
I want a receiver. And I'll be genuinely honest with you, I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's a tight end. I don't care if it's a receiver. I need another weapon for Daniel Jones. That's what I've got to take in the middle 20s. And if you hem me up and make me take one, you know what? I'm going to say Dalton Kincaid. I like the tight end better for what Brian Daboll does.
Despite the addition of Darren Waller, they go another tight end.
Don't care because Darren Waller's not a tight end.
All right.
He's a slot receiver that's a mismatch. He's a nightmare of a mismatch.
All right, Sports Center is coming up next, and then we will give you the top 2 tiers of the NFL Power Rankings mid-free agency period here in the Sportsocracy.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville. This is your Exergen temporal scan. This is your Exergen temporal scanner weather forecast.
There will be an increase in
ESPN
cloud coverage
Asheville.
tonight with a low eventually cooling down to 38 and some clouds into Wednesday with a potential for some scattered showers developing. The high tomorrow should approach 58 degrees. Not quite as cold for Wednesday night with breaks in the clouds at a low of 46 and certainly some warmer weather on Thursday. It will be sunny with winds increasing out of the southwest and a high climbing to 78. And on Friday, a sunny sky into the afternoon hours as the high gets close to 80. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is stopped on 26 westbound and the road is closed due to an accident between US 70 and Broadway Street. Heavy traffic on 240 westbound between US 70 and US 19. Traffic is flowing freely on 26 eastbound between I-40 and 146, as well as between US 25 and US 70. And we're still seeing that long-term construction on I-40 both east and westbound between US 25 and NC 2531. I'm Elena Vegso with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Jackson Hewitt for your guaranteed biggest refund and 50% off tax prep. Switch to Jackson Hewitt. 50% off is a limited time offer for new clients filing at participating locations. Max value $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for terms.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
I'm Christine Lisi. Willis Reed, who won 2 NBA championships during his Hall of Fame career with the Knicks, has died at the age of 80. Reed, nicknamed the Captain, had been in poor health recently. His most famous moment when he played in Game 7 of the 1970 NBA Finals after missing the previous game with a thigh injury. Grizzly star Ja Morant today spoke to the media for the first time since his 8-game suspension for conduct detrimental to the NBA ended, said he made a terrible decision, many mistakes. He also apologized again, said his job now is to be more responsible and smarter. He may need to lean on others to help him do that, advises former UNLV and NBA power forward Larry Johnson.
Having the right people around you. I mean, it should be somebody around him kicking his ass right now. Just letting him know that you made a big mistake and this is not small. And you have to make up for it. You have to atone for that. So, and he's a smart guy, so I'm hoping he'd be okay.
Larry Johnson on Fitz and Harry. Morant is expected to return tomorrow versus Houston. Fairleigh Dickinson's Tobin Anderson agreed to a 5-year contract to become the next basketball coach at Iona, reports ESPN's Pete Thamel.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
Final hour of the program here on a Power Rankings Tuesday. You are locked into ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. The Sportsocracy heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. We are live in the Ingles studio, and you can see us on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel so you can join us in the chat. Get your thoughts in on today's Power Ranking Tuesday here, as we are doing our mid-free agency period power rankings in the NFL. We started at 32 with the Arizona Cardinals, have worked ourselves all the way up to the top 12. These are the top 2 tiers, no doubt playoff contenders. You go playoff contenders, Super Bowl contenders for these next 2 tiers. Who starts off the bottom rung here?
The New York Jets, Jets.
Well, I got to be honest, folks. I'm very shocked that they're not higher on the list.
There were 2 teams that I considered putting ahead of them. There's a lot of moving pieces. And I don't know where this roster is going to fall out. I don't know how this trade – I mean, I think I know how this trade's going to go. I don't think Joe Douglas is going to blink, and Aaron Rodgers comes in here for 2 twos. At the end of the day, does that make me think we're better than the Jacksonville Jaguars? No. Could you prove that to me? Sure. I think you're better in places.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of flux with this roster. I get a lot of smoke for being a Jets homer. I think I'm the most realistic Jets fan on the planet, mainly because they've hurt me so many times that I trust you at my own peril.
Well, some Jets fans could be going, "Oh, with Aaron Rodgers, we're no doubt top 5." Jeremy goes, "No, solid 12."
I that's where I felt this roster was last year when the quarterback play fell off the cliff. I don't know 100% what you're going to get with Aaron Rodgers. Is it a cop-out answer? It is, because I know they belong in that tier. Could I have them in front of Seattle? I could. I've seen Seattle do it. I haven't seen the Jets do it.
Mm-hmm.
Could I have them in front of Jacksonville? I could. I've seen Jacksonville do it. I haven't seen the Jets do it. So, I mean, that's my rationale. You're more than welcome to disagree with me all you want to. But there are a lot of moving pieces to this Jets roster, and that's a really – I mean, if you look at the 11 teams that are still left on that screen – this is the most unsettled roster, and it's not really all that close.
Hey, you got Alan Lazard. Obviously, the Aaron Rodgers thing still hanging out there. It's going to get done at some point. I mean, what else did you do in the free agency period that you liked?
Nothing. I mean, I think you're going to go get either Brian Branch at 13 or the player that I'm going to give you here that I think's who you have to come away from this with.
Okay.
Which is Paris Johnson Jr. He can play on the right side. You've got Elijah Vera Tucker that's very malleable. We've seen him play left tackle, right tackle, and right guard. So I know I have a piece there. I don't know what I have in Mekhi Becton. That's another part of this that scares me. Okay, Mekhi Becton looks like a Terminator right now. You know when else he did that? March of 2022.
Right.
He played as many snaps as I did. So, I mean, yeah, there are things to be concerned about here. And then you get into okay, which one of these is a better coach, Robert Saleh or Pete Carroll? That's not really close.
Yeah.
Who's a better coach, Robert Saleh or Doug Peterson?
Doug.
There you go. I mean, it's at some point you have to be realistic. I mean, is this a great spot to be? Absolutely. But, I mean, there are still – I want to see pen to paper. Maybe I'm a lifelong Jets fan and I've been burned too many times. But the longer this Aaron Rodgers thing hangs out there, the more there's a little burning voice inside me going, they're doing it again. They're going to do it to you again.
Yes. They're like the old man in that State Farm commercial with the dollar on the fishing pole. Like, I got to be quicker than that. That's what bad franchises do.
And look, I don't think this is a bad franchise. I think this is it's historically a bad franchise.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
I also hate when people say that. All right, put a pin in that, and I want to ask you a question at the end of this.
Okay.
Actually, I forgot. The teams are on the screen. Buffalo Bills, historically a good franchise or bad?
Bad.
Okay. Cincinnati Bengals?
Bad.
Okay. My Detroit Lions?
Bad.
Jacksonville Jaguars?
Bad.
Los Angeles Chargers?
Bad.
Seattle Seahawks outside of the Pete Carroll era?
Bad.
Okay, it's weird. It's weird that the only team that is destined to stay in suckitude forever is the New York Jets. Sorry, little 60 seconds, my name's on the door, and that's a rant that I want to go on every time I hear that.
Right.
But weird. It's a cyclical league. Yeah, the Jets have been bad for 10 years. They went to 3 AFC championship games a little over a decade ago. That's more than I can say for the Detroit Lions, the Jacksonville Jaguars, or virtually any team I just said. So, take your little the Jets are good Jet. Take that little argument and take it somewhere else because I'm fed up of
You're
hearing
done. You're done here.
Because I'm going to start doing it to Cincinnati Bengals. Oh, your roster's great. Well, you're still the Cincinnati Bengals. Hey, look, you see how that works? That works both ways. I wasn't trying to take a shot at Bengals fans out there. Actually, they're the nicest to me. So you know what? I'm sorry that I used you as an example right there. Because you didn't deserve that. You've been nicer to me than you had to be.
All right, the Jets coming in at number 12. They are the start of the contenders tier of the mid-free agency power rankings here in the Sportsocracy, and the player they need to come away with in the draft, Paris Johnson Jr., the tackle out of Ohio State. Number 11.
The Seattle Seahawks. In terms of roster, before any of you come after me, Seattle probably belongs a spot or two lower. Now, you're going to add 2 top 20 picks in a bad draft. At the high side. And I just believe in the front office, and I like a lot of the things you've done. I think they've done good things in free agency. I cannot have them any higher than any of these other teams, and it all falls back on one thing. Let me just go down the line. Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Dak Prescott, Jared Goff, Trevor Lawrence, Pat Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Tua Tagovailoa, Jalen Hurts, whatever is happening in San Francisco, Aaron Rodgers, Geno Smith. One of these things is not like the others. I've seen one of these guys have one good year in their life. So, yeah, that does ding you. And that's not shade. At this point, it gets really hard to differentiate these teams. And I can't have Seattle any higher than that. You're not the best team in your own division, which there are not many of these teams left that I can't say that pretty aggressively.
I thought they'd be god-awful last year, and they weren't. They had to turn around.
And I by no means think they're god-awful.
Right.
I think they're a very good, very talented team.
Absolutely. They had to turn around with Geno Smith. Pete Carroll, I mean, he earned every bit of a Coach of the Year award last year and probably would have got it had it not been for Brian Daboll and a couple of other cases. They are improving. They killed the draft last year. If they kill the draft again this year with the draft capital that they have, they could very well be in the thick of the conversation, and they could be right outside contending for that division championship.
And I told you that there were two teams that I kind of copped out. One of them because there were multiple players. Seattle, you need to take anything that's not Anthony Richardson. I don't care who the player is. I know the Geno Smith deal basically boils down to a one-year deal. I know you think Pete Carroll in this system can make any quarterback work. I don't think you understand the sideshow that you will bring with that kid. Because people are not rational. How many times have I told you that with quarterbacks? Of there is a section of your fan base that will be wackadoodles about this kid because they can't stop watching him throw in shorts.
Yes.
The first bad game Geno Smith had, there would be 20% of your fan base screaming for Anthony Richardson. You tell me I'm wrong, but I said that same thing about Jalen Hurts. I was wrong there because he was better than I thought he would be. But did that not go exactly how I told you it would?
Yes.
And I can do this all the way back to Tim Tebow. There are certain people that you fall in love with the tape. YouTube absolutely killed your ability to take developmental quarterbacks because you fall in love with what you see in the preseason and what you fell in love with in college. And that's weird for me to say because I don't know when Seattle's going to get that next quarterback. I'm officially to the point, I got a 71-year-old coach. I'll figure that out on the backside because whoever that quarterback is ain't going to be playing for this coach anyway. So I don't step in line. Get things that make this roster formidable now. I'm going to say something that I never thought I'd say.
Okay.
With where the NFC sits, it wouldn't shock me if the Seattle Seahawks were in the Super Bowl this year.
Really?
I don't need a developmental quarterback. I'm in a tight window here because I've got an aging coach, I've got an aging quarterback, and I've got a roster that is really good and young in places and a little bit older in others. So I need good players that help me right now.
Okay.
If Will Anderson falls in your lap because the first four quarterbacks go, awesome. If you can get past the personality red flags with Jalen Carter, awesome. If you have to fall on the fallback plan of Tyree Wilson, awesome. I don't care. If you go Peter Skoronski and go, well, we got the best guard in this draft, I don't care. Take the player that you're in love with for 2023.
Whatever makes you better this year. Number 10.
Oh, I guess it would help if I had the list up, wouldn't it? The Detroit Lions.
If you'd have told me
I'd have said
last offseason,
I would have said you were on drugs. I would have immediately drug tested you the second it came out of your mouth.
Right. That in just 1 year, Dan Campbell and the rest of the front office would have this team in the top 10 of a power ranking, I would have told you were nuts. But here we are. You got a lot of pieces on this team that you really like, and they've got another pick inside the top 10.
And that's for me, the difference with Seattle and Detroit was one of the hardest ones to differentiate for me total. Because I see a lot of similarities. You're really good and young in several places. You both have 2 picks in the top 20. I'm currently about equivalently positive that you're going to hit on those 2 first-round picks, which is something I never thought I would say about the Detroit Lions 1 year ago, but here we are. The differentiator for me is, yes, I believe in Pete Carroll more. I look around the NFC North and go, who in the world is going to stop you from doing whatever you want to?
No one.
Am I going to lose a game in my division?
Maybe.
No. All right, maybe the Lions going to Lion.
Right. You might lose one on the road to Minnesota or something, but
outside of that, if I told you right now you had to bet your house on the Detroit Lions to go 5-1 in the division or better, or 4-2 in the division or worse, which side would you go on?
5-1 or better,
no doubt, and I wouldn't think about it twice.
Mm-hmm.
That roster's good, and you're getting ready to add 2 more good young players.
I really like what they did with the secondary.
I do too.
I mean, Cam Sutton and C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Emmanuel Mosley. I mean, these aren't superstar, like, shut them down number ones like Miami has, for example. But these are, like, really solid role play. They fit what Dan Campbell has brought to this team, just that lunch pail mentality.
And I love it. I love a lot of the things you've done. I have more of a struggle with what the Detroit Lions are going to do at 6 than any team in the draft. Because I just look at it and go, would I like to have Will Anderson? Yes, he's never going to follow me at 6.
Mm-mm.
I don't know that you can get Brad Holmes on board. With what I know of Brad, I don't know that you can get him on board with all of the red flags in Jalen Carter's personality. You don't necessarily need a corner now. Could you take one? You could. It's a luxury pick to the highest degree.
Mm-hmm.
The things you really need, you can't get one of them at 6. So there has been a thought in me of, what, there could be a trade between Tennessee and Detroit that nobody's talking about right now, of they panic and go get a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I'm reaching a little bit because I just don't know. And I look at where Detroit's at and go, whoever you take's going to be a luxury.
Yeah.
You're good and young practically everywhere.
Which is why I feel like Jalen Carter screams to me, and I get what you're saying about the front office may have the question marks and whatnot, but
we all have the question marks.
But this is also, as you said, luxury pick. And I don't know that there's another front office coaching staff that I would want bringing him up.
Pete Carroll, I can tell you exactly. I would much rather him be in Seattle. I mean, if everything fell exactly how I want it, then you'd have Will Anderson in Seattle, Jalen Carter in Detroit, and Arizona just disappears into the ether because I don't really believe in anything that's happening there.
Mm-hmm.
What's more realistic? Arizona falls in love with Will Anderson because he has no personality red flags whatsoever. Carter goes 5 to Seattle, and then Detroit's sitting there going, well, Tyree Wilson's kind of a hat on a hat. He doesn't necessarily fit perfectly in our defense. We don't need a corner now. What am I supposed to do? Which makes me think they might be the spot for Bijan Robinson, but you just put that in your hat and think, do with it as you will.
That would be quite interesting.
It keeps happening.
DeAndre Swift, and they just brought in David Montgomery. And
in a deal that they can get out of easier than you have ever seen in your life.
Draft a running back. Okay. All right. All right. We'll see.
I just don't know what they're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't necessarily love the I've had Tyree Wilson to the Lions as many times as I can count. I'm not sure how that fit works. Zion said that's way too high for a running back. Okay, I'm going to say this. I've said this in YouTube chats so many times that my keyboard now will auto-correct it for me. I'm well aware of that. I'm the guy that's been screaming I would never take a running back in the first round for 12 years. Here's what nobody seems to listen to me when I say this. The talent in this class sucks. That's as clearly as I can say this. This is the thinnest high end of a class I've ever seen. He's going to go in the top 10 because he's the best player on the board. It's just a question of where. I think his drop dead is probably Philadelphia. The high side is Arizona at 3. That's how high this could go. It's not that I want to take a running back in the first round. I don't have a whole lot of other options. Because I got news for you. Tyree Wilson, he's also going in the top 10. He has tape where I'm not sure he actually knows how to play this game. but the good is so good that I can't stop putting him that high.
Mm-hmm.
And that wasn't just at Zion. I never get asked that question when we're live. It's always people saying it in the YouTube chats, and it's usually like 11:30 at night, and domestic lights have taken over, and I throw an obscenity or two in it. So I just wanted to get that out.
First playoff contenders here in the mid-free agency power rankings here on a Power Rankings Tuesday. Jets, Seahawks, and the Lions. We'll get into the top 9 next here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
We're seeing some heavy traffic on 240 westbound between Chuns Cove Road and Haywood Street. More stop than go on 26 westbound between Ozone Drive and US 25. Heavy traffic on 26 westbound between 280 and 146. 19 northbound is backed up between 63 and Elk Mountain Road. Slow traffic on 40 westbound between 26 and US 19. And 19 southbound is backed up between NC 251 and NC 63. I'm Alina Vegso with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Jackson Hewitt. For your guaranteed biggest refund and 50% off tax prep, switch to Jackson Hewitt. 50% off is a limited time offer for new clients filing at participating locations. Max value $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for terms.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Tara, quote, "My doctor wanted me to do saline rinses for my allergies, but I've never been able to successfully use a neti pot. Navage uses suction power, so it's foolproof. There are nights when I'll have particularly bothersome allergies. I'll bust it out, and the results are immediate. It's such a relief. It's become a lifesaver." Unquote. She's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, Navage, clean nose, healthy life.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Tired of getting dinged by monthly fees on your checking account? You need Simple Checking from Home Trust Bank. With Simple Checking, you get all the essential checking services for free, including 100% online access and a free Visa debit card. It's everything you need from a checking account, but no hoops, no surprises, no monthly fees. Stop by today or call 800-627-1632. Simple Checking at Home Trust. Ready for what's next. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
When I finally drove the old car into the grave, I knew there was only one place I was going to go. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, home of the family plan. And yes, they treat you like family. I went in, told them what I was looking for, told them my budget, and in no time, I was signing the paperwork on my certified pre-owned vehicle. They have the area's largest selection on quality pre-owned vehicles and certified Nissans. They go through a 167-point inspection, so you know it's not going to let you down. They gave me the Carfax report, so I know the history of my vehicle. And the Fred Anderson family plan gives me things like oil changes and car washes and loaner cars if I have to have major work done on the car in the future. For me, buying a car has always been an intimidating thought. But the folks at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville made it super easy. Don't be like me. Don't wait till the last minute to get a deal done. Go to AndersonNissan.com or stop by the showroom at 629 Brevard Road. And don't forget to mention we sent you from the Sportsocracy and get a $250 bonus on your trade-in at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
The Sportsocracy.
Why are you smiling? Because I love football.
Mid-free agency power rankings here in the Sportsocracy. We're up to number 9. We're in the no doubt contender territory here with our power rankings. We had the Detroit Lions at number 10. Who's at number 9, Flostradamus?
The Miami Dolphins. This all falls down to your quarterback.
yeah, the health of Tua Tagovailoa is obviously the number one story for them.
If you told me 100% Tua Tagovailoa would play 17 games in the regular season, I'd probably have him 3 spots higher.
Okay.
I cannot count on that in any way. I don't trust it. I don't believe it. And so I can't have him any higher because the next team on the list, I know who their quarterback is.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much every other team on this list, I know exactly who their quarterback is.
I have seen a lot of talk about the Miami Dolphins being the overall winners so far of the free agency period. Since we didn't mention them yesterday, I'm going to say you disagree with that.
I loved the signing of David Long. That one still makes no sense to me. I'm in like with the fact you added Jalen Ramsey. Schematically, I'm not sure you're going to love that as much as you think you will. But I said the same thing with Xavier Howard.
Mm-hmm.
And weird. You didn't. He's probably the most overpaid player in the league last year. So, and I'm looking around the division going, okay, you got to deal with Josh Allen, you got to deal with probably Aaron Rodgers, who are 2 of the greatest deep ball throwers in the last 30 years in the NFL. And I've seen Jalen Ramsey get beat deep a lot. I'm just not as dead set on it as everybody else is. I think they're good. I thought they were good before. Miami, to me, has a lot of it's that Maserati in front of a double wide thing all over again because I feel like the structure of this team is not as good as everybody else thinks it is.
Okay.
Your line is the stilts that you put a beach house on. If it holds up, great. If not, then your house is going to be out in the middle of the ocean because Teron Armstead stays hurt all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just it's good. It's very, very good. Your high side is as high as anybody in the league. You got more questions than probably any team up here, except maybe the Jets.
Okay, so what do the Miami Dolphins have to come away with in the NFL draft?
Well, they don't pick until I'll probably be 24 domestic lights in for the weekend by the time they make their first selection. So I'm just going to my mock draft of who I have them taking now. I still feel like they need a linebacker. I've thought that was the biggest problem on this team for about as long as I can remember. And so I'm going to say a guy I don't get to talk about enough, Deion Henley out of Washington State. I think he goes really nicely next to David Long. I would love to have a pass rusher, but the thought that you're going to get one of those there is just – I mean, they don't pick until the end of the second round.
So you're out on Jerome Baker?
It's not that I'm out on him. It's I'm looking at David Long and him together going, I see a gigantic problem with that. And it's that what you do best kind of counteracts each other. And so I'm not sure that you're going to be able to all right, I'll put it this way. When you come out in nickel, if you have David Long and Jerome Baker on the field, may all the luck be with you. May the fortunes forever be in your favor. Because I could see Josh Allen and Aaron Rodgers just cutting you apart like a Thanksgiving turkey. So I would like to have somebody that's more mobile than that I can use in nickel and dime situations.
Number 8.
The Jacksonville Jaguars.
Okay, all right. How much better can this team be? Like, are you holding back at all? Or is this best pie in the sky scenario?
What do you mean am I holding back?
Are you like you with the Dolphins? You said you had the question of Tua's health, and if you knew he was going to start all 17 games, he'd be higher. Do you have a caveat like that with the Jacksonville Jaguars, or is this like where you feel like this team is fully healthy?
No, this is about where they go.
Okay,
I would say they're 8. I think they're still a step behind the teams that have done it, which I'm sure if you're watching on YouTube or if you just know the teams in the NFL, you can figure out that there's a pretty consistent of the teams left have either done it or they're so unbelievably talented that I can't keep them any lower.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, what's the drawback on this team? Like what? All right, with their pick in the first round, what position do I have to attend to? I got 3 really good receivers.
Yeah. Maybe a corner?
I wouldn't mind a corner so I could slide Darius Williams back into the slot.
Mm-hmm.
That's a position I've looked at. I know they really like Keely Ringo, but this is too high. I mean, I would like to have somebody on the interior or another edge, or I'm going to take the best player on the board. Somebody's going to fall. Because I've got too many grades that are too close, and there's going to be somebody when Jacksonville rolls around that we go, how in the world did he get here? Please stop with Jordan Addison. Every time I hear Jordan Addison and the Jacksonville Jaguars name in the same sentence, blood starts coming out of my ears.
Why?
Because why? For why am I doing that? I've now got 3 predominantly slot receivers if I take Jordan Addison. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. And you get big physical corners, good luck. Because I don't know which one of them you think is beating press, but it's none of them. Because they're all just little itty-bitty guys.
Well, Christian can win on the outside.
Christian doesn't play on the outside hardly at all. He plays in the slot almost all the time. Not one of them weighs more than $190. For me, it's such a terrible fit. And that's why, if you're dead set on taking a receiver, it's Quentin Johnston. But for whatever reason, you don't like him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but okay.
And Jigba?
He ain't going to last that long.
He won't last that long?
No, at some point the tape itself just makes you go, okay, we've done this enough. So I'm going to say a guy that I'm really just drunk in love on, and I think it's kind of a luxury pick, but it's Lucas Van Ness out of Iowa.
Okay.
Because I can rotate him with Caleb on Chason, and it's kind of an Arden Key replacement. I think that's how he should start. He may get drafted drastically higher than that. But I would really like him in this fit where see ball, get ball. I know you can do that. Now, how you hold up 50 snaps a game, I have absolutely no idea because I've never seen you do it. But that would be my selection for Jacksonville. And if it's not him, I'm going to go down the line. Adeborie from Northwestern is another one I would like. He plays more in the interior. That's probably the 2 I would be jumping up and down. I don't think there's going to be a corner there. There's a run that happens right before them.
Only a handful of teams remain in our mid-free agency 2023 power rankings here for the NFL.
I have a funny feeling the next team on this list is going to shock you.
You're in the Sportsocracy. Also, when we come back, be time for the most important message of the day.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
There will be an increase in cloud cover tonight with a low eventually cooling down to 38 and some clouds into Wednesday with a potential for some scattered showers developing. The high tomorrow should approach 58 degrees. Not quite as cold for Wednesday night with breaks in the clouds at a low of 46 and certainly some warmer weather on Thursday. It will be sunny with winds increasing out of the southwest and a high climbing to 78. And on Friday, a sunny sky into the afternoon hours as the high gets close to 80. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
We're seeing more stop than go on US 19 northbound between 63 and Elk Mountain Road. 240 westbound is backed up between US 70 and US 19. Slow traffic on 26 westbound between US 25 and NC 146, as well as some delays on 19 heading southbound between 251 and 63, and 25 is backed up both north and southbound between 240 and Beaver Dam Road. I'm Elena Vegso with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Jackson Hewitt. For your guaranteed biggest refund and 50% off tax prep, switch to Jackson Hewitt. 50% off is a limited time offer for new clients filing at participating locations. Max value $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for terms.
I can't believe tax season is here already. Look at all this info I have to enter.
Phil's small accounting firm is growing in numbers.
Why didn't I take that typing class in high school?
A data entry specialist could really help him in a crunch.
I got blisters on my fingers.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Wendy's 2 for $6 lets you mix and match some of our best items, like Dave Single with a 10-piece crispy nugs, medium strawberry lemonade with a spicy chicken sandwich, spicy chicken with a Dave Single with a strawberry lemonade, strawberry lemonade, if you're into that. Chicken Sam, crispy nugs, strawberry lemonade, Dave's, nugs, Sam. Whew! Pick what you want at a price you want. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's 2 for $6.
For a limited time, price and participation may vary at U.S. Wendy's. On the card only. Single item at regular price.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito is now at Taco Bell. 2 servings of grilled marinated steak and a melty 3-cheese layer inside, plus grilled bubbly cheese on the outside. At participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only while supplies last. Contact local stores for prices, hours, and participation which vary. Tax extra.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy. It's time for the most important message of the day.
Don't do crimes!
And guess what? We're going back to Florida for this one.
Shocker.
Couple were down in St. Petersburg, and it's springtime. There are a lot of people around. There's a lot of spring breakers in town. And these folks, they were parked outside a place called the Toasted Monkey. It's a restaurant.
That sounds like a place to get a beer and a cigar.
Absolutely.
I went to the Toasted Monkey, and I drank 42 beers, and somebody hit me with 4 of the bottles.
When they come out of the Toasted Monkey, they see a man next to their car, and he's making strange motions on the other side of the car. And as they approach and go, "Hey, what are you doing?" the guy stops making these weird motions, and he runs away, laughing hysterically. When they get to the other side of the car, they see that it is scratched all to hell. And laying on the ground right next to the car is your average, ordinary kitchen butter knife. This guy was scratching in the side of their car with a butter knife, caused over $1,000 worth of damage. Police did catch up to the guy. They arrested him. They have charged him. And when they interviewed him, they said, "So what was the deal? Why did you think that was so funny? That was a great idea." He said, as all spring breakers do, "It's just a spring break mistake. You can give me a break, right?" Here's the problem. This guy's not some 19-year-old co-ed from, Montana. No, this guy is from Missouri.
The great state of Missouri.
He is a licensed real estate broker who's 52 years old. Dude! I mean, you can get away with the spring break mistake thing. That's like, I woke up with a strange girl. Or, I wound up completely painted in Sharpie because I had way too many fireballs. Jeremy's done it. I've seen him.
Although painting on me comes with the risk of he's going to wake up eventually, right?
I don't feel like the spring break excuse can be used if you're a 52-year-old real estate agent.
And I am going to ask you my favorite question, which is, what are you, a cop? My story has a political tint to it, but that is not why I'm telling the story. Former First Lady and Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and her daughter Chelsea took in a Broadway show last week. Some Like It Hot. Some Broadway show. I've never heard of it. But that's not why I'm telling the story.
It's classic.
I'm telling the story because we have a great Scooby-Doo mystery. Because something happened during that performance that I need to get to the bottom of.
Oh, is someone murdered?
Nope. I'm going to read this verbatim because I can't ad-lib this and not laugh. This is from page 6. Last week when Hillary and Chelsea Clinton were in the audience, the lights came up for intermission, and there were 2 human poos in the aisle just near the famous political duo.
Oh, That's hilarious.
Okay.
One for each of them.
I've racked my brain since I read this story this morning, and you've given me a few explanations. Maybe somebody didn't mean to do it.
Maybe.
And trust me, they've gone down all these rabbit holes. I can physically not believe that a poo ends up in the aisle of a Broadway show next to someone with the last name Clinton, and you didn't do it on purpose. I refuse to believe it. I've tried to find every rational possible way. It doesn't exist. And I need to know the story. I also need to know this person's address to send them one U.S. domestic light. Because that is hilarious.
Nice. And wow.
You want a great story to tell while you're sitting in a drunk tank? I took a deuce next to Hillary Clinton. Buy that man a beer.
Like, what were you doing in the women's bathroom? No.
Nope.
No. We
Nope.
were in the middle of a theater during a Broadway musical.
It's in public, and nobody noticed, and I got away.
Oh, don't do crimes. It is the Sportsocracy,
I mean, if you're gonna do crimes, then funny crimes are. I mean, don't do them. Still don't do them.
Don't.
Maybe.
Mid-free agency period power rankings roll on here. We've got just a few more teams to get into here with number 7.
Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
At 7? They've lived in the top 3 for you for 3 years.
I can't put them any higher. I can't. Your division is catching up to you. The AFC is evil.
Mm-hmm.
I can't have them any higher. You have holes all over this team. It seems like every year you lose just a little bit. And look, I'm not going to say the window is closed because I still love Josh Allen. I think he's a fantastic quarterback. But your defense is getting older. Your secondary is you got 2 good safeties when they're on the field,
Mm-hmm.
and your corners are terrible. And you don't seem to be doing the greatest job of adding new ones. The line's not good. You don't run well. That's a lot of knocks on a team that's at number 7. I just can't have them any higher.
Yeah.
And now you're going into a season with James Cook and Naheem Hines and Damian Harris. Oh, that's sounding really New England Patriot.
I felt like retaining Jordan Poyer was an important piece for them, but the problem is it's a one and done.
Your linebacking core is genuinely awful.
It's like every year you're going to be doing this, chasing these veterans to keep this defense competitive.
You've gotten into this period where now I don't know if Jimmy's and Joe's you can beat the 6 teams in front of you. Because I feel like all 6 rosters that I'm getting ready to put in front of them are better than them.
All right, what do they need in the draft?
I mean, I hate to say it this high. You have got to come away with a linebacker. I mean, I've seen Bijan Robinson. I've seen every name to Buffalo. You better go get Trenton Simpson or Drew Sanders because this linebacking core is a joke. And you will get killed in the run game. I mean, I get that you rush the passer well when everybody's healthy. That second level is horrifying.
So Trenton Simpson or
I would probably prefer Drew Sanders in this scenario. But you need somebody that can – he's more of a pass rusher, which is kind of a hat on a hat, but you got to have somebody.
Number 6.
The San Francisco 49ers.
Whew. Feels low for them as well.
Look around and realize that when was the last time that I said a team that had a worse quarterback situation than San Francisco?
That's a good point.
I mean, I could go all the way back to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I'm not sure Kenny Pickett's not better than either quarterback you have on your roster. That's just how good this roster is.
Mm-hmm.
I saw you roll your eyes at me. You're telling me right now you have to – I give you 2 choices. You can start a franchise with Brock Purdy or Kenny Pickett, and you're going with the former, not the latter.
It doesn't matter. I'm drafting one next year anyway.
I don't disagree with you, but I guess that's kind of my point because you rolled your eyes at me like I had said something insane.
No, it wasn't insane. It's just gross to think about.
It is gross to think about.
The quarterback, there has to be some movement at quarterback for them. Now you've added Sam Darnold to the mix, so you might get serviceable enough play to be right here, to contend for the conference championship. You'll have a chance to play into the conference championship. But can you go any further than that with subpar / unknown quarterback play?
You are going to have to figure out what the quarterback situation is. Because here's my biggest problem, and I haven't talked about this at any point. First of all, I think Sam Darnold's the best quarterback on your roster. I'm just going to keep saying that so that when I'm right 9 months from now, I can go, ha, I told you so. You have 3 quarterbacks that are completely polar opposite different. So what happened with Josh Johnson he comes in to run a Brock Purdy system, and it looks like he doesn't even know the playbook. You have 3 quarterbacks that do completely different things. So you're going to have to get some clarity here pretty quick. And I maintain that the right solution is Darnold not – I mean, you obviously have to give Trey Lance the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure that Darnold won't just outright beat him. And my biggest fear with this team is – my biggest fear is what happens when let's say the start of the season is – let's say the start of the season you go 3-3 with Trey Lance, and you lose one of those games like you did last year to the Chicago Bears. At what point do you go, we're too good for this? Like, I understand how much we gave up for you, but this ain't working.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of those storylines that I think we're going to have to pay attention to probably for the entire season.
All right, what do they need in the draft?
Well, they don't pick until the end of day 3. So,
Goo deep divey. I can't wait for this. Who you got lined up from Sam Houston State?
Hey, we had a guy from Sam Houston State last year.
I know.
That I think wound up on your team.
Yes, he did. Zion McCollum.
Yep.
I love that kid.
You should. You know what? I'm going to take one of the players I actively have in the mock draft for them. It's Zach Harrison, the edge out of Ohio State. It's hard for me to say anybody that you've really ever heard me talk about because we're talking about their first pick is number 99. So a little far down the. What San Francisco needs to do is sit there and wait because you do have so many compensatory picks. We've never seen a team that's done anything like this.
Mm-hmm.
Just rack up on talent. I don't care what position they play. San Francisco doesn't have a huge need anywhere anyway. I could use a corner. You're telling me you're going to start a third-round corner on a team that's this good? I don't buy it. So I want to take swings. The guys that are hurt. Kayshon Boutte was another name I considered saying right here.
Mm-hmm.
Because would it shock you in the least if he fell to the end of the third round, San Francisco took him, the next thing you knew he was the best receiver in his class?
No.
Wouldn't shock me in the least. Wouldn't shock me in the least.
I think it would shock me that he'd be the best in this class, but one of the best in this class, no. It's not too far out of the realm of possibility. At number 5.
The Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh, okay.
I said what I said.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I'm going to catch some flack for this.
100%. The Eagles at 5 seems criminal.
You've lost a good bit here.
Have you, though?
You lost both your coordinators.
Well, and the coaching staff, sure, yeah.
All right, how many times have we seen this game play out where a coach hires really well and the staff is so good, and then all the coordinators go, wait, Dabo Swinney!
Although it took 10 years for that to happen,
yeah.
But yeah.
Well, with Philadelphia, it took one Super Bowl run. And so now you're outfitting a new offensive coordinator that's never been a coordinator in this league before, a new defensive coordinator that's never been a defensive coordinator in this league before, and you just had that trickle. You lose Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, you lose T.J. Edwards, you lose Javon Hargrave, so you lose one piece of everything. Yes, the secondary is still good. Yes, the defensive line is still good.
Mm-hmm.
I've still got you at 5. Okay? I just think losing this much talent is going to be hard to replace. And I firmly believe the Dallas Cowboys right now have a better roster than Philadelphia does. I know that sounds crazy to say.
That is crazy.
Because I feel like Dallas is building a team to beat Philadelphia. That's exactly what I'm trying to do because I'm not worried about anybody else. San Francisco has me playing quarterback. We almost beat them last year in their place.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not worried about anybody else. And I feel like Stephon Gilmore was directly to deal with the Philadelphia Eagles.
And he mitigates who?
I would say you put Gilmore. A.J. Brown plays in the slot a good bit. If A.J.'s out wide, he gets Gilmore. If A.J.'s in the slot, he gets Trayvon Diggs.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to mix things up. I know it sounds crazy.
It does sound crazy. They were able to keep the offensive line together. The defensive unit is pretty much intact. You got some young guys that you drafted last year that are going to slot in as starters. I don't feel like you took a giant step back in your running game.
How many new starters does this team have? I've already done the math.
Oh, I don't know.
Seven of your 22. Name me the last team that didn't take a step back that had that happen.
Mm-hmm. Number 4.
Hold on, I got to give you the player that
they get to draft.
They need to draft. Philadelphia is in a. I told you there was a player that gets doubled up on, and before you say, "Well, how he's never taken a running back in the first round," I'm well aware of that. Bijan's a different guy.
Mm-hmm.
For me, 10 is his drop dead spot. If I'm and guess what, his first pre-draft visit was with the Philadelphia Eagles.
You get Bijan Robinson, to me, lock it up. There's nobody chasing you down.
I've never said this about a running back. You give me Bijan, that's just enough to put Philadelphia back over Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
Because now it's not Kenny Gainwell or Rashad Penny.
Boston Scott.
Because now you're putting the entire offense on Jalen Hurts. You have got nothing to help him in the running game. Look, Kenny Gainwell, yeah, he's a rotation back. Every one of them's a rotation back.
Mm-hmm.
But you give me Bijan, you give me a guy that could come into this league as a top 5 running back in the league. Okay, now we're because to me it's razor thin anyway.
All right, number 4.
The Dallas Cowboys.
I'm your huckleberry.
Gage asked, "Do you believe in Dak?" No, I don't. But I'm starting to think if you build a good enough roster around the quarterback and you keep kicking this can down the road, you can mitigate. I mean, I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback. I've long said I thought he was 10. He's lived at 10.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a terrifying set of weapons. Tony Pollard getting the full boat. Now I got Brandon Cooks to beat you over the top. CeeDee Lamb is a matchup nightmare. I love everything they've done. And Gage followed that up with,
I'm your huckleberry.
Bijan on the Eagles would be nuts, top 2 offense. I agree. And that would be enough to switch you. But where it sits right now, there's too much flux with Philadelphia ahead of the draft.
Right.
You have way more ammo than they do, though.
Where do they go in the draft?
If I'm Dallas, I got to find a tight end. Losing Dalton Schultz, I know Mike McCarthy's not huge on them. And for me, this is the Michael Mayer drop dead spot. How many times have I watched since Stephen Jones took over the draft that they just sit there and wait on a great player to fall in their lap, and that's what Michael Mayer does. Because he's the blocker that Mike McCarthy wants. Dalton Schultz was not great at that. He wasn't a liability. But Michael Mayer is the fully rounded extra weapon, and now I'm looking at that offense going, I don't know how you stop it.
3 contenders left. They're all from the AFC. We'll get into it up next here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
The right lane is blocked due to an accident, and traffic is stopped on 240 westbound between Chuns Cove Road and Haywood Street. Heavy traffic on 26 westbound between NC 280 and NC 146. Expect delays on 19 northbound between 240 and 251. Slow traffic on 25 both north and southbound between 240 and Beaver Dam Road. Traffic is flowing freely on 26 westbound between 146 and 191, and we're still seeing that long-term construction on I-40 both east and westbound between US 25 and NC 2531. I'm Elena Vegso with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. The double steak grilled cheese burrito is now at Taco Bell. 2 servings of grilled marinated steak and a melty 3-cheese layer inside, plus grilled bubbly cheese on the outside. At participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only while supplies last. Contact local stores for prices, hours, and participation which vary. Tax extra.
The Atlanta Braves are back, and this 2023 team is ready for another epic season.
1-1 pitch. There's a deep drive to left center field. This thing is clear for takeoff. Back-to-back home runs. Ozuna and Riley Riley.
Next Thursday afternoon, it's the 2023 season opener live from Washington, D.C. as the Atlanta Braves open the season against the Nationals. Braves Radio goes on the air at 11:50 Eastern, 10:50 Central on the Atlanta Braves Radio Network.
Join us to celebrate the songs and artists you've loved over the past year.
At our 2023 iHeartRadio Music Awards.
Hosted by Lenny Kravitz.
With Innovator Award recipient Taylor Swift.
And performances by iHeart Icon Award recipient Pink, Coldplay, Kelly Clarkson, LL Cool J, Keith Urban, Pat Benatar, and Neil Giraldo, Lotto, Money Long, Cody Johnson, and more.
Watch on Fox and listen on iHeartRadio.
Monday night at 8 p.m.
Cleaning the inside of your house is easy, but the outside is where most people need a little help. WNC Wash Pros are the highest rated exterior cleaning company in North Carolina with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Whether you need your walkways pressure washed or the outside of the house scrubbed clean, we will kill all organic growth to preserve your paint and extend the life of your roof with our gentle and soft approach. Call us at 828-560-WASH or visit our website at WNCWashPros.com for a free estimate today.
Spring fire season is here, and you are the best defense against wildfires. Make sure to have a water hose, bucket, steel rake, and a shovel for tossing dirt on the fire. Keep your phone with you in case you need help, and never leave a fire unattended. Learn more at ncforestservice.gov.
There's a lot of talk about heroes these days.
Hey, buddy, you want to go fishing?
The folks in the funny outfits with superpowers and spandex.
All right, buddy, let me help you.
But at Ingles, we know that a lot of our heroes
Now you look like a pro.
are a little closer to home. They're the ones who give us what we need for those everyday adventures. That's why we look up to the ones who look out for us.
Don't forget your fish food. Catch a big one.
Ingles.
See you later, Dad.
All the ingredients for family.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelley Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
All right, closing it out, the mid-free agency period power rankings here in the Sportsocracy. 3 teams left. Number 3.
Go Chargers, go!
The Los Angeles Chargers. You got to hope that they're going to stay healthy this year.
Having the offense not in Joe Lombardi's hands changes a lot for me. I think Kellen Moore's really bright. I don't think the defense can be as bad as it was at times last year. And the pick for me is Mozzie Smith. The nose tackle from Michigan, and that's not going to change. Bijan's not falling to you. Jordan Addison's a hat on a hat because you're keeping Keenan Allen. You need somebody that can stop the run.
Yep. Get that run stuffer. Number 2.
The Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, the defending Super Bowl champions coming in at number 2.
This is as razor thin as it gets, just like the game they played last year in the playoffs. The difference is you got Jawan Taylor, they got Orlando Brown. I don't think either one of them are franchise left tackles. One of them's very good, and I've seen him do it. Mm-hmm. And that was the biggest problem with Cincinnati, was that left side was a turnstile at times. And so now, I have Cincinnati one notch above Kansas City. It's so close, it's pathetic.
And all hinges on a left tackle. That's
how
close it is.
That's how close these 2 teams are.
Yeah. Okay. So the Chiefs, who do they need to get in the draft to make them maybe get that leap over?
For them, it's the wide receiver that falls. If you don't procure DeAndre Hopkins, which you might, and Kalijah Kancey if you do.
Okay,
I think he's a really good drop dead spot. I keep hearing he's going very late in the first round, and him next to Chris Jones is terrifying.
Mm-hmm. And finally, number 1 in the mid-free agency period power rankings here in the Sportsocracy, it is
the Cincinnati Bengals. This is another spot you need a tight end badly because I need that guy. I like Tyler Boyd, obviously, but I need Michael Mayer would be the dream scenario. I just don't think he's going to be there. So Luke Musgrave, Dalton Kincaid, whichever one falls to you. and you just have to keep adding talent to this roster.
All right, there it is, your mid-free agency power rankings here in the Sportsocracy from number 32, the Arizona Cardinals, all the way to number 1, the Cincinnati Bengals. It is the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville. We will rejoin you tomorrow, as always, here in the Ingles Studio at 3 o'clock.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
There will be an increase in cloud cover tonight with a low eventually cooling down to 38 and some clouds into Wednesday with a potential for some scattered showers developing. The high tomorrow should approach 58 degrees. Not quite as cold for Wednesday night with breaks in the clouds at a low of 46 and certainly some warmer weather on Thursday. It will be sunny with winds increasing out of the southwest and a high climbing to 78. And on Friday, a sunny sky into the afternoon hours as the high gets close to 80. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
The right lane is blocked due to an accident, and traffic is stopped on 240 westbound between Chuns Cove Road and Haywood Street. Heavy traffic on 26 westbound between NC 280 and NC 146. Expect delays on 19 northbound between 240 and 251. Slow traffic on 25 both north and southbound between 240 and Beaver Dam Road. Traffic is flowing freely on 26 westbound between 146 and 191, and we're still seeing that long-term construction on I-40 both east and westbound between US 25 and NC 2531. I'm Elena Vegsa with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. The double steak grilled cheese burrito is now at Taco Bell. 2 servings of grilled marinated steak and a melty 3-cheese layer inside, plus grilled bubbly cheese on the outside. At participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only while supplies last. Contact local stores for prices, hours, and participation which vary. Tax extra.
Careless debris burning is the leading cause of wildfires in North Carolina. Before you burn, take a look at the weather and avoid burning on dry, windy days. Never leave your fire unattended. You are the best defense against wildfires. Learn more at ncforestservice.gov.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225C.